gonna get it right one day. Hey, remember how many times you used to do the messages for your voicemail? It goes something like this. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for locking into another episode of I'll Piss You Off Shortly. This is the podcast where we debate everyday issues, pushing your thought process beyond what's normal. The topics discussed here are meant to be intense, promote growth, and at times may have you feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Me too, a little bit. We may not always agree, and we will more than likely have varied opinions. But with that being said, I can't promise to be your favorite podcaster. Neither do I want to. But I can promise to be transparent, fair, and open-minded. So please, if you think you've got the stamina, passion to debate, analyze, and challenge the normal, please take a number. I promise you, I'll piss you off shortly. Hey, mama, I got a podcast. Hey, I got a podcast. Hey, I got a podcast.
You know, every time Donald thinks things are not going in his direction, he claims whatever it is rigged against him. The FBI conducted a year-long investigation into my emails. They concluded there was no case. He said the FBI was rigged. He lost the Iowa caucus. He lost the Wisconsin primary. He said the Republican primary was rigged against him. Then Trump University gets sued for fraud and racketeering. He claims the court system and the federal judge is rigged against him. There was even a time when he didn't get an Emmy for his TV program 3 years in a row, and he started tweeting that the Emmys were rigged against him.
Should have gotten it.
This is a mindset. This is how Donald thinks. And it's funny, but it's also really troubling.
Okay.
Now, that is not the way our democracy works. We've been around for 240 years. We've had free and fair elections. We've accepted the outcomes when we may not have liked them. And that is what must be expected of anyone standing on a debate stage during a general election.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking
Yeah,
out.
buddy! We are back. I don't want to hear shit this dude has to say. Shut up, Lester.
I love Lester Holt.
What's up, Lester? Joe, we're here. It's Wednesday, but we are here. And I am super fucking excited we won, Joe.
Well,
we won, Joe. I can't believe we are, Joe.
It's funny because, you know, on two podcasts for like the last 6 weeks, you and I have been saying that this was going to happen, and it did. And you know, I've in the last like week, I've had this debate now with so many on the right who are. You know, so it would be great if the Democrats had just stolen the election away and it would make them all feel better. But they're going to find out that that's not the case. And I know that sucks. And losing never feels good.
Find out. They know. That's the thing. They know. And that's the thing. Like, they are. Well, first and foremost, I know Trumpito. He is agonizing in pain. He just looks miserable. I saw the video of him today going to remember the soldiers and shit like that to pay his respects, but he just looks miserable. He looks like, oh shit, I have to figure out what I have to do. So let me stall as much as possible and try and cover my ass, because he knows you fucked up, Craig. You done fucked up the money, and look at you now. So hey, Hillary told us a while ago. We've been knew this. Like this is. I mean, his dad told him there's winners and losers, and he has just gotten his not first taste of losing, but the biggest loss of his life. This is literally the biggest loss of his life. He can recoup. Well, we can't even say he can recoup back losses from a business because he's broke. He's a broke bitch. And then at this point, he knows he's going to jail, and that goes into from him holding off, and we'll get into that later. From him holding off, any kind of future endeavors with Biden, you know, any kind of trying to work with the transition period and everything, how they're blocking all that, the continuous failed attempts at lawsuits. The guy in Pennsylvania, his fake accusation has already been like everything these idiots are trying. Just keep letting them fail. And I hope that's what we continuously just keep letting them fail. But I do worry because we know he's hiding. He's firing people and then filling these positions with Trumpists, right? We're going to call them Trumpists, just so he can cover his ass. And once again, these same people that are jumping to his defense, I have a feeling he has something on them because what's going to happen when the sink sails, and all y'all are going to sit there and say, oh my God, I was coerced. He coerced me to do some shit. And I really hope that the Dems don't go for that shit. And I hope everybody's keeping tally of everybody that's doing the shit, because I promise you, Trump is not going to have your back when they throw the book at y'all. When the feds and everybody else, all these agencies come around and start throwing the book, he's going to be throwing all them under the bus, because he's still the biggest fucking loser.
So I think what you're seeing right now is a really interesting scenario where they still need him till January 5th.
Now, why January 5th?
There's 2 elections, runoffs,
the runoffs
in Georgia.
The runoffs.
And if you're the Republicans, you have to be saying to yourself right now, if you look at the presidential count, there are more Democrats in the state than there are Republicans.
Very true.
It's close. And the question's going to be, Rob, and I'm going to just point blank say it, the black vote's got to come out January 5th.
It does.
If the black vote lets us down, then the Republicans keep the seat. Racism stays in Georgia.
And that's where I'm kind of worried about, because
listen, this is a chance for black people after all this time to take their boot and shove it straight up Georgia's ass once and for all. Claim that state, give the Senate to the Democrats, and give them a shot to change your life.
Exactly. But that kind of worries me, though. I'm not even going to, once again, black women, I love you. Thank you for saving this fucking election. Thank you, black women, because guess what? Black men, we failed you. America, we fucking failed you. 20%. Matter of fact, we already had 10% of you idiots. And I'm going to call you guys fucking idiots, because guess what? I don't give a fuck if we share the same color. You're not my brother. And I knew that for some years, but it's really proven this election, just because we're the same color does not make me your brother. And I'm getting rid of that dialect as far as in my life, because 10% added. So 20% of you dickheads chose some dumb idiocracy beliefs over the safety and value of other African Americans, of other people of color, not even just African Americans, people of color. So it's just like, really, that's how dumb you guys ain't worried about a history? Let me put something to you idiots. There's 3 sets of histories within this election. We don't even worry about Pence. Pence has been so far gone from this whole, we can pretty much cancel Pence from the past 4 years, because he did absolutely nothing. But if you look at Trump, and then you look at Trump and his history versus Biden and Kamala's history, which, by the way, side note, I learned today that me and Madam Vice President Kamala Harris share the same birthday. But anyways, if you look at their 2 paths, we'll take Kamala and Joe. Their 2 paths, they've changed, they've admitted their wrongdoings and looking for change. Meanwhile, we've got fucking Trumpito over here still in his same past ways, and y'all chose that bigot, y'all chose that racist, that Marxist. You can't be you gotta be kidding me. You can't be serious. Black men, you guys suck. Y'all fucking suck. And I'll be first one to say, I threw a little joke out there last week just to see how it would fly. And I had said I had voted for Joe Jorgensen, and the whole crowd, I think it was the wrong thing for it. But yes, I voted for Biden. I said a joke that I voted for Jorgensen to see what people would say. And I've been kind of going with that for the week. But no, I voted for Biden. So I didn't agree with Biden, and I still don't agree with what he might bring to the table. But my morals could not let me let this orange man win, period. I don't care who it was. And the joke has always been, Biden's going to win Connecticut. Still, I cannot vote for somebody that will have no problem me hanging me as a black man, that will have no problem promoting these racists, these bigots, these killers, these thugs, these terrorists, if they came and attacked me. So, you know what, black men, the 20% of y'all can suck a dick. And I really hope that you guys reap what you fucking sow.
Let me defend these fellas for just a minute.
Go ahead, Joe.
And here's how. People like my mom, a perfectly reasonable Democrat her whole life, now a Trump supporter. If there's one thing Donald Trump knows how to do, it's he knows how to message. You know, when they say like a politician will say whatever to whatever crowd. I think Donald Trump's got this thing mastered at a manipulation level that's through the roof.
He does.
Down in Florida, they went really hard after the Cubans and the Venezuelans in Florida by pushing Joe as a big socialist liberal. We're going to be Cuba, Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
And he was able to scare the Cubans into voting for him. And
I also learned the Nicaraguans. That's another big demographic out there.
Sure.
I heard that from the Daily.
Now, listen, we've talked about Candy Owens a whole lot. She's swell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kanye got on board, I think, just last week. Ice Cube.
Shaq. All
right?
Yeah.
A lot of these idiots.
The celebritism, the just jump on the Trump train, like.
But that idea, though, Rob, that like the Democratic Party's like the plantation, like, and never mind that they're running a black woman as the vice presidential candidate. The Republicans literally tried to say that the Democratic Party has let black people down in this country, and that's just not true. And there's literally only one party that even considers black people at this point, and it's the Democrats.
Yeah.
That's a fact. And again, I don't mean to suggest that there or any racism behind it. That's just the way things are in present day America.
And I would like to say, I think the Democrats look as black people as equals, not just black people.
Right.
Like, how can we incorporate black African Americans to make them feel equal? Whereas the Republicans, you're just black. You're black, you're black, you're your own person. You got to figure it out. And this is the guidelines. And we don't want anything apart of it. You guys just stay your own way. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut that.
Look,
but
no. I think if you're black, and I think if you're, you start to hear it over and over again. About 8 weeks ago, I saw an article in the New York Times that said the Democrats should worry about black men. And I was like, ha, ha, ha. You're not black enough. Ha, ha, ha. It was a real problem. I mean, this election could have been over if black men had come out like they did for Hillary.
It would have been done.
In 2016, he wins Dade County, he wins Florida, and this thing's over a week ago. And it would have been interesting because Trump would have probably had to concede because it would have been like 340 to 110.
Yeah.
But listen, this is the propaganda machine. I have befriended some people just this week on Facebook. One person who suggested to me that a 10-year-old could do journalism. And I told that stupid whore, no, you couldn't. No. And if you think a 10-year-old could do journalism, you're probably reading Breitbart, bitch, right? You must be. You must be reading at something at a fucking stupid level if you think a 10-year-old can do what I do. Because I fucking promise you, they can't.
They can't.
Here's another thing that I've got a real issue with that's really emerged this week.
Mm-hmm.
That dumb fucks on social media know more than doctors, scientists, lawyers, and the media. People who dedicate their whole lives to this shit. And meanwhile, motherfucker, you did your own research. I would contend that 99% of you are too fucking stupid to even know what that even means.
Exactly.
I did my own research. Yeah, where did you start? Tell me a little bit about what you learned, you fucking idiot. Dude, these people...
Wikipedia and their social studies book, Joe.
These people just run their mouths. I'll tell you a really funny story. You've heard people talk about the Electoral College.
Of course.
Okay. Big misconception about the Electoral College. We touched on this on the politics show on Monday night. There's two arguments being made right now, right? You'll hear the Democrats tell you that the Electoral College was because farmers had to pack up their sleighs and like go into town so they could cast their vote. And it's like 200 years ago, so travel's a little bit tougher. And so you had like the leeway of being able to vote whenever, and then they would make sure that the electors cast the ballots. And now you hear on the right, they say the point of the Electoral College is to keep them liberal cities like Portland and San Francisco from deciding who the president is. You hear that all the time because otherwise, right, the San Franciscos and New Yorks of the world would just based on population size would determine who the president was every time. That's why the Electoral College is a place. That's what they say. Fucking problem though, Rob. Problem. In 1789, there were only 13 states and literally like 13 big cities.
So
you see how that works? So there were
Mhm.
no fucking liberal cities in 1789 when they developed the fucking thing. Idiots. It's just not true.
True, exactly.
I'll give you one better. Do you know who invented the Electoral College?
I do not.
Everybody fucking loves his ass. Alexander Hamilton.
Really?
So Hamilton developed the Electoral College, and his reasoning was simple, Rob. Obviously, you as a black man would have had no say in the matter at all.
Of course.
Right? No
So
vote,
we'll just
no
take
say.
me out the way, yeah.
You're out. All the women, boom. I'm a white landowner. I get like this much respect from them, Rob. The idea of the Electoral College was that even people like me were too fucking stupid to pick the guy.
Wow.
You can pick the guy who picks the guy. How's that sound? There were a lot of states, as a matter of fact, where that was the whole voting system, was that you only picked your elector and then they would select a president and let you know how it turned out.
See, yeah, and that system's obviously a failed system now, because we definitely don't have 13 states. We definitely don't have fucking 13 major cities. Yes, definitely Joe did his fucking research. You know, but yeah, so like that's crazy. That's crazy that you bring that up. So now, like,
I'll give you one better.
Go ahead.
Alexander Hamilton, when he saw it in practice, he didn't like it. He wanted to change it, and he had begun actually working on an amendment to change the Electoral College. And as anybody who's seen Hamilton knows, burp. Boom, and that's the reason. Literally, Aaron Burr's the reason we have the Electoral College still.
Jeez.
What an asshole.
So, like, I wonder what would take, because I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm the fucking biggest social sciences person or social science person there is, right? But, or political guy. It's okay, people, to also say, I do not know. And I'm going to give you guys a good example of how to ask a question and maybe receive an answer. So here we go, right? What can happen for us to get rid of the Electoral College? Can that be done outside of, well, not say outside of an amendment, but I would assume we would have to do an amendment. There would have to be some voting involved and shit like that. And do we think that that can actually be a process? Because honestly, I think the Electoral College is bullshit now. And we, the people, should be voting by the popular vote, because it's the person, right? Like that's how we make our vote matter. And I'm sorry, guess what? The population in Houston and everywhere else in Texas and Georgia and all that, there's enough people around, and that popular vote has proven that, right? This year is really proven that. It's just about 50-50 split. You take your two coastlines, those are your blue, and in between that's your red. You better figure it out. You better hope you've made a good enough impression for the popular vote to actually have to do something. You know what I'm saying? For it to matter. Fuck, I don't know nobody who has some of my votes. I don't know the people who have some of my votes in Connecticut. I don't trust them. I know that my vote says this, and that's just what it is. And honestly, if you look at it both ways, and I wish conservatives would look at it and sit there and say, hey, Joe won the popular vote and he won the Electoral College vote. You can't beat that. I missed that college. I might have missed that comment from Vanna, but it looked like it was interesting. We can't have a popular vote until we kill disenfranchisement.
Fair. But so again, let me just fill one other detail on here. Obviously, you know, the 3/5 compromise also ends up getting factored into the Electoral College.
Now, why is that?
Well, so here's the way things laid out, right? As they were putting it out there, 2 senators for every state, equal representation. Then it became, well, what about states with more people in it? Shouldn't they have more representation? Which is why the lesser house, the House of Representatives, or what we refer to as Congress and Congress people, 2-year terms, you know, they're generally in and out a lot of the times. The idea was to make sure that there was, again, even representation in both houses. You had a problem with slavery because there were a lot of people who lived in the South.
Okay.
Obviously, a lot of them not willingly. The South thought they should count all their slaves and should get representation for people who literally had no rights.
I know. Wow. But you want us to have no rights, but you want us to have some kind of.
It's funny. Ohio does this a lot with prisons. They build prisons in Ohio and they stick them in Republican districts.
Wow. Just to have those numbers.
Just to make sure they've got enough people who live there. And if you're black and you're in prison, you're not voting in Ohio.
But you're definitely boosting the numbers.
You've got the numbers to boost it, and obviously there's a lower outturning of voters because of who can actually do it. So, I mean, look, the problem is, and this is what pisses me off about my conservative and my Republican friends, is we've been holding a lot of people down, particularly black people, and in many cases, white people and white women, and all women in general, and most minorities that aren't white. We've been holding them back from day one. Exactly. I mean, if you say that you're a constitutionalist or you're an originalist, then explain how you feel about the fact that people's rights, period, weren't even included. There's a reason that the Bill of Rights was an amendment. They wrote the whole Constitution before they even what are the scumbag fucking losers surf scat? Give them tell them they can have whatever religion they want. We won't fuck with it. They can gather in fucking circles if they want to and fucking yell as loud as they can.
You think I was going to say, what do you think?
The Bill of Rights, for anybody who, again, if you know your history, you would know this stuff. Again, dude, they couldn't have disenfranchised more people if they had fucking tried. But from day one, dude, it's been about suppressing the vote. This country, John Hancock, I might have told you this story, the big signature on the Declaration of Independence. John Hancock,
pretty much.
John Hancock was a fucking pirate. And everybody was like, oh, fucking King George sees John Hancock's signature. He'll know that's a real fuck you to us.
Yeah.
It's the whole point of it. And all the other people in the colonies who were like, I don't really want to get killed by King George because this pirate wants to
taunt him and troll his ass.
Right?
Pretty much, yeah.
But our history gets whitewashed, and we're led to believe that these were all super noble guys who had America's best interests at heart. They were all in it for themselves. And when they started writing down the rules, it was all about them.
Exactly, with nobody else. And that's why I'm like, it's a couple people after the election, I said, when do we actually have a leader that sits there and says, we need to redo all this shit? Not throw it all away, but we got to do something, right? And then they were like, no, you can't do that. You're going to change the whole system. Well, yeah, the system's fucking broke. How many more years do we have to continuously go on with a broke system and then wait for some bullshit ass amendments? And that's where I really have an issue with a lot of I'm not even gonna say Republicans, because once again, I separate Republicans and conservatives. Where I have an issue with conservatives because they're literally trying to conserve that old way of life when that old way of life is done. It's a broken ass system and it's done. So if it's done, if that system is broken, why not fix it at this point where it literally equals everybody? But they don't want to do that. They have the blinders on. They're too short-minded to sit there and say, you know what, you're right. Let me get rid of this bullshit ass history that literally has, obviously, like you said, has no true hold. It's just been a big fuck you to British back in the day, right? All of us, right? Even now, so it's just and then for them to continuously just fight and support a system that literally has been proven to be broken, it really makes me how smart are you really?
It's the only way they can win elections at this point. National elections are going to be really tough for Republicans, especially if you look at the way the numbers for young people broke.
Oh my God.
You have no support. You have no support with the two youngest generations of Americans. Zero.
And I really thought
in 20 years, I don't know that there will be a Republican Party.
Yeah.
If they don't make drastic changes fast.
I was surprised. I thought young conservatives were actually going to show up and show out a little bit. I thought they were going to give there are none. And this election proved it.
Crazy.
They definitely. So, and that's why I started to really think that this is a true Trumpism or Trumpist is a true cult or clan, however you want to put it. That's a true gang. And it makes me wonder how long that mentality is actually going to last. Because when you look at it, like you said, Republicans, or I don't know, do you think it's Republicans or the conservative mindset that won't last? Because I see Republicans kind of switching into more of the libertarian slash that kind of like that mild set, that true neutral kind of grain.
Yeah.
Like, we definitely want to be this, but we definitely want to keep some of these rights. But I think conservatives are really going to be those that are far, continue right, like so far right, and really so stuck into that old traditional American 17 whatever, 1776 type way. That's where I see it. I don't know if I'm making any sense either.
You are. Listen, President Lyndon Baines Johnson once said, if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on, and he'll empty his pockets for you.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Donald Trump has been doing over the last 4 years.
And he's still doing it.
And it works. I mean, again, I know I've talked to you. We've just had this discussion before. President Trump was in Alabama for the Roy Moore, Doug Jones senatorial thing last year, 2 years ago rather, and Donald Trump. I mean, again, look, he's got an ability to obviously rile a crowd, but he actually had the poor people of Alabama chanting for the end of the capital gains tax.
So can we talk about the capital gains tax?
Those people don't even know what the fuck he's talking about.
A lot of them
they're
don't.
chanting for it, and it's like, this just makes people like him richer.
Exactly.
Why are you cheering for that? Because he's convinced you that you're his peeps, and you're better than those dirty liberals and those disgusting immigrants from shithole countries. That's the reason he talks like this.
Because he literally he knows that they're not to say that people aren't smart enough to do their own research. You know what I'm saying?
People want to hear what they want to hear. And if you say it, man, if you tell me it's a perfect call with the Ukrainian prime minister, you don't have to even listen to it. Everybody knows it's perfect. And I want it to be perfect, Rob. I don't have to even listen to it. It was perfect.
It was perfect.
No matter what you tell me, because that's what I want.
Exactly.
And he plays on that really well. Better than any other politician I've ever seen. When he talks about being an outsider, he's the ultimate politician. He's the ultimate insider.
Oh, yes. Very true. Very, very true. When I say
nobody could stand in front of a crowd and completely talk out of his ass and then go visit a different crowd and say the exact opposite the way this guy can. With literally, you could show him the video and he'd be like, I didn't say that.
I didn't say that. Yep.
What?
What are you talking about?
How do you win that war? And the people that support him don't want him to lose. No. I don't just mean in the election, I mean period. And so when the media is like, yeah, but here's video of Trump saying those things, and his supporters are like, you guys are just trying to tear him down. You're manipulating his word. It's like, I'm playing the words he said. How am I manipulating them? Because I'm showing them?
And then they don't want you to do that, because then that's slandering his name. No, that's what he said. That's what he's doing. I would literally love to know that, like, people that voted for him, like, do you guys at this point really feel played? Look how is this your king?
They don't feel played.
Is this your king?
Rob, not only do they don't feel played, and I see your boy Chris liked what you mentioned. You said earlier, look, we're a 50-50 country right now. It's about 50.5 to 49.5. Democrats to Republicans. But again, Chris, before you get too excited, look at the numbers with young people, and also look at the numbers with independents, which I've been warning about for a couple months with Trump, that you were going to get banged up with people who are reasonable and don't identify with your party. Biden and Trump both got 94% of the vote from their party. Okay, so they perfectly even after that. Mm-hmm. It came down to a couple of key groups, right? With Trump, it was certain types of Hispanics.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't care about
Cubans,
Puerto Ricans, but
Nicaraguans.
he likes the Cubans because they live in the right places.
Mm-hmm. He thinks Puerto Ricans are trash. He likes to kill.
You think most people are, but yeah, for sure.
I mean, the way he just tosses
yeah.
paper towels and they're just here you go.
Our buddy Quali Boy, I'm registered
Quali, what's
now
up, brother?
Libertarian. Joe Jorgens got 1.8% of the vote for president. If a candidate gets a backing of 5% of the vote, the party gets nationalized. Blah 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 blah. Here, thank you, Frank, for that. Here he is a snot rag. I love when people talk about this stuff. The third party. You know, we talked about it. We considered it. It was something that we might have wanted to do. To get 5% of the vote is hard because there were 147 million votes cast.
Almost 150. Yeah, I want to say it was almost
5% of 150 would be like what, 30 million? Joe Jorgensen isn't getting 30 million votes.
She may have if Kanye didn't get 60,000.
Again, dude, Kanye got 60,000 and she's nowhere near getting 5%. Like it's an impossibility. And I'll tell you what, if you don't understand by now, you know, the debate commission and the election commission are run by a Democrat and a Republican.
So there's no chance.
Why would either one of those sides ever let somebody else in?
And that's the other thing. Like we really have to get rid of this fucking two-party system. I'm so sick of this two-party system. I don't see it ever foresee it changing, but it would be nice to be able to get rid of it. Hey, we have however many, I don't know how to change it, but like we got to have at least 5. In my eyes, like we got to have at least 5 and maybe, you know what I mean? 5 parties, 5 different representation, because you can, if you move left or right, either way, you're in a whole different party. If you look at it, like if you're a liberal, right, you lean over to the right just a little bit more, you're a libertarian. Then you move a little bit right. You know what I'm saying? You're 1 or 2 points of views separated from a whole different party. So I think like there's certain things that need to be represented. And then maybe like you do it. I don't know. Maybe you do it like a playoff bracket. Hey, this party didn't make it. This party didn't make it. You got these 2 parties for this year or this election. I don't know. But this dual party shit has to stop.
Again, see, as Frank points out down there in Florida, they convinced the Cubans who don't like Democrats because they think Democrats are socialists. And they just bang that point home, despite the fact that Joe Biden went on TV and was like, "Look at me, do I look like a socialist?" You know, and again, if you look at Joe Biden's voting record, I saw a graph earlier this year where they were like, you know, Bernie's over here to the left, and then everybody else just is here. Joe Biden was in the quadrant of all Republicans.
Which I believe
he wasn't even in the Democrats. Literally, he crossed over, and I mean, technically speaking, he's a Republican. See, Joe Biden is. So for anybody who, like I said, everybody's freaking out. I mean, again, I have some really good friends who are Trump supporters, and we had some good laughs. They didn't vote for Trump, incidentally. They decided they would vote down ticket Republican, but couldn't, in good conscience, vote for an idiot. I
can respect that.
I appreciate. I really do. I appreciate people that do that. I really do appreciate people that do that. And the number one reason behind it, Rob, ultimately came down to, you know, for 4 years we talked about, will this guy ever be presidential? And at the end of the day, people who love America, who like really love America and respect the history of America, they want a guy in that job who is a centrist, as they've all been. You know, I remember how concerned I was about Obama being a socialist. And we fucking survived it, Rob.
Super. You know what's crazy? I had a good friend of mine.
He didn't take our guns.
See, I had a conservative friend of mine say, hey, you know what? I was talking to my conservative dad, and Obama's term wasn't too bad. And I'm like, yeah, it wasn't. Both terms. And they're like, yeah. I said, you if you start literally peeling away that dumbass mindset that orange man gave you, and really start looking at things, it wasn't the greatest. But guess what? We all survived and we lived in a peaceful time. Outside of some whatever political shit that none of us had any control over. So what? You pay a couple extra dollars in taxes to help everybody, like to be a good human being. And not even like the person that was telling me doesn't clear 400K. So it's just like your taxes aren't going to matter. Online, you know, maybe the next thing was capital gains. You know what I mean? Here's an article. Let me educate you on capital gains or show you that, yes, if you, the biggest thing, you know what surprised me that I realized that when a couple conservatives reached to me and said the capital gains thing, they were like, oh, I've been in my house for 5 years. I said, so you realize your capital gains tax doesn't even apply to you, right? They're like, well, what do you mean? I said, it's a time. I said, there we go. You don't even understand your time frame on capital gains tax. So before then, let's start from the basics. Oh, well, I just got into the market, and if I want to trade, I said, okay, well, do you know if you keep your stock, keep your share for a year and a day, you cut 25% in taxes right there. Well, what do you mean? That's not, I said, no, that hasn't changed for whatever. Like, there's certain things that you need to learn before you just sit there and start crying over some shit. And guess what? Just because there's capital gains, there's ways, so many ways to get around your capital gains tax. So many different fucking ways. So just do your research, people, before you start, like, really, like you said, even with AOC, just listen. Listen with the ear and stop just trying to be like, oh, this guy's stupid. I want to watch my fucking football. Guess what? Football's trash this year anyways. Watch fucking what the hell he has to say. He's going to be your president. Guess what? He's your president. Just like all y'all say, fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
Fucking deal with it. And just listen to him. Show him the same fucking respect you would show your boss.
I knew Donald Trump was in big trouble when Democrats got nostalgic for this guy.
Yeah. What's up, Bush?
When this dude was on like fucking Ellen and liberals were like, oh my God, he wasn't so bad. That's when I knew there was no way Trump was going to win this election. Mm-hmm. Because here's the thing about women.
He doesn't even believe in Trump.
No, he doesn't. You know, look, I think there comes a point where, and again, Frank alluded to it, the reason why Donald Trump won this election is more people were just sick of his shit. More people were tired of the way he behaved. And whether you were a Republican who was just turned off by his leadership, or whether you were a Democrat who feared for your life, or whether you were an independent who, again, was just sort of sick of it all. Mm-hmm. You know, to me, look, and I know the Trump supporters are, they hate when we make these accusations, but if you honestly can't look back on this and be like, well, he definitely started it. He constantly poured fuel to the fire, and he got what he deserved because he failed 50% of Americans. Mm-hmm. He treated half of America like they didn't matter, and literally antagonized them every single day. I will tell you right now, if Joe Biden on January 21st comes out, and I know he's not gonna, but if he came out and took that same approach, I will kick him in the balls for 4 years like I did to Trump. I promise everybody watching this shit right now, if Joe Biden fucks up, if we're getting Venezuelan socialism, I know we're not, but if we do, I will kick his balls every single week on this show until he's dead in 6 months.
And that's the difference, once again, between us and them. We can sit there and say, you know what? We're going to hold him accountable and hold ourselves accountable to sit there and say, you know what? We were wrong. He's fucked up, and we're going to still drag his ass in the mud. Unlike these dudes, they're just, oh, no, he's great. Trump's great. Nope. Whatever he says, keep going with it, right? So, and I look forward to it. I plan on holding Biden more accountable than I held Trump, because I knew holding Trump accountable for shit was a waste of time. Trump, Frank goes, guys, Trump has a 4-year audition. He failed. Now Biden has 4 years to audition. If he fails, guess what? He will get voted out. Exactly.
I'll give you one better. He's not going to run for re-election. He's going to be 82 years old.
No, Kamala Harris.
So there's nothing to audition. Here's what I've been telling people and why I felt good about supporting Joe Biden. Mm-hmm. Nothing is going to change.
As far as what? Is it getting better or worse?
The national mood has changed. Mm-hmm. I think people already, I mean, again, we got to get past the next couple of weeks. I think once we do, I think people will understand what I'm getting at. The temperature of this country went down like a lot. It was a 12. Now it's like an 8. And within a couple of weeks, it'll be like a 6.
Thanks. Well,
and we can live at a 6.
I think we can live at a 6. I think it's going to go up a little bit. I think that it's going to take.
It's not because he's not going to say anything fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to antagonize.
No, I don't think that either.
He hasn't. Listen, Joe Biden hasn't even directly said, "I won, motherfucker. Get out of my house."
Oh, we're talking about. Oh, my bad. I was referring to Trump.
Oh, I am. But that's what I mean to say
okay.
is nothing bad is. You've got 3 months, and the only way things are going to get worse is if Trump continues to act like a lunatic.
Facts.
Which again goes back to my earlier point. The Republicans still need him because they need his base to come out in Georgia January 5th. This is an awkward marriage of convenience right now because, again, these guys really didn't come out in full force for Donald Trump. A lot of them, especially the more moderate Republicans,
they just let it go in there.
Kept their distance.
But I mean, you got the typical ones. So you got Lindsey, dumbass Lindsey, still fucking running his fucking jaw. Of course, Mitch. And then you have Giuliani just running everything down in the ground. So yeah, typical.
That's some crazy stuff too, huh? Oh, I wanted to tell you.
But yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off track with that.
Earlier today, the lieutenant governor of Texas offered a $1 million reward for anybody who could make up fraud. I mean, anybody who reports fraud.
So anybody that can pull a mail worker in Pennsylvania.
Bro, if you're like $1 million reward, you will find somebody. You'll find Democrats that are like, you know what? My mom did try to vote twice. Take that bitch out.
That's the problem. They suck. You suck at your job if you literally put up $1 million and you can't even find somebody to lie.
That's crazy.
That's
just the fact that there's not a line of people at the door tells you all you need to know about the fraud situation. Again, I understand why Republicans are mad, but don't freak out because nothing bad's going to happen. What I mean to say by nothing's going to happen is, well, first of all, he's probably going to end up with the Republicans in control of the Senate. He's going to have a hard enough time just getting a cabinet approved through the Senate.
True.
Let alone doing stuff. You're going to see a lot of executive orders like Obama had to do to get anything done because you're going to have a Republican Congress that's going to be obstructionist and just going to drag their feet in any way they can. And here's the thing. As someone who was a Republican, I felt like that, like, guys, I appreciate you trying digging your heels in here, but you can't not govern for 4 years because you don't like the president. That's fucked up.
You know what? Matter of fact,
we need COVID relief right now. And the fucking Republicans who just lost an election are like sitting back like, should we do something now? Or you want to win the fucking Georgia election? Pass a fucking stimulus package. You fucking ignoramus. I mean, this is mind blowing.
They put it on the back burner, so that's what they want.
Right. Ooh, what did they want though?
Comment.
What did they want, and what did they make sure they got done before the election?
They got their fucking judge. Pushed through. Let's see here.
So that's why I say for people like Chris, if you think that Mitch McConnell and Republicans care about you at all, their last shot to do something before Trump left, they could have put money in your pocket and made sure that your family was going to be fine through the rest of this pandemic. Make sure people didn't get kicked out of their homes for the duration of this thing. Make sure small businesses got a lifeline that they always talk about, the backbone of the economy. And instead, they were like, fuck you guys. We want the judge thing. Fuck everything else.
Hate to bust your boat.
That's all I need to know about the party I used to give fucking money to. Instead, I'm proud to say, by the way, I sent money to both Georgia and South Carolina. And even though Jamie Harrison lost by 10 points to Lindsey Graham, best fucking money I spent in 2020 was sending a black liberal in South Carolina
to have
my money to beat that redneck motherfucker.
Now, I hate to cut you short, Joe, because we got somebody in the comments and I've been waiting to eat them up. So Daniel Alberto Cutie, Mr. Cutie. So the left rioted and burned their own cities. Trump's fault. The demon rat couldn't accept they lost. And I hate when conservatives or dumbass people like this comment and don't know how to spell. But let's hear. The demon rat couldn't accept they lost in 2016.
Oh, this is just a guy with a small dick.
Are you serious? I was, you know what? I was gonna actually say something to this, but then I realized that
he seems like a reader.
Yeah, like first and foremost, Mr. Cutie, I love your name. I wish you'd take your mask off so I can see how cute your face really is. So first and foremost, so they left and rioted and burned their own cities. So it wasn't the left. If you were smart and did your research, you would actually see that it was the conservatives that started a lot of those riots and a lot of that bullshit in Minneapolis and Minnesota with the George Floyd shit. And then also after with the Breonna Taylor shit. So let's not forget about that, Mr. Alberto Cutie, Mr. Cutie. And then let's go into Trump's fault. Yes, it was Trump's fault because guess what? He played on racism. He played on bigotry. He led you guys to go ahead and keep feeding that racism and bigotry. And guess what? When we fucked your cities up, when we fucked your guys' areas up, when we fucked up your monuments, what did you guys do? You guys cry like little bitches because you guys represent all that stupid ass racism and bigotry. Ooh, Mr. Cutie, let's see here. I wish I could put you up on live so we can kill your ass through here. Demon rats. What are you, 12?
I mean, again, this is the kind of idiots that we have to deal with, and unfortunately. And Nancy, we're talking about Nancy Pelosi. Has anybody here said anything about Nancy Pelosi?
Exactly.
I think Nancy Pelosi's trash. I think she and Mitch McConnell are the two worst fucking things that ever happened to this country.
Super trash. So like,
but Daniel, do me a favor. Go fuck yourself. You don't have to watch this, bro.
Exactly. I mean, no, please watch it.
I know he doesn't listen. He doesn't listen. If you're not open to fucking factual information and not a goddamn thing I've said's in a fucking opinion, idiot. Just telling you what's up.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've literally read fucking information to you. Nancy Pelosi, get the fuck out of here, moron.
Like the conservative, butthurt conservative that we've been having to deal with. So like
sick of these fucking people.
Like, I'm sure he probably believes that the election was rigged, that, demon rats, as he calls, Democrats, would just cheat just to barely get by. Just enough to get.
Hold on. Like, I see this little bitch is talking about the Russia hoax. Okay. Dude, I mean, read all the reports the Republican intelligence committees have been putting out. They had every right and reason to investigate the Trump administration, and just because small dick Ben Shapiro told you that that's not true, fucking lying to you, you ignorant loser. You're a loser.
Hey,
you're
Cutie.
A fucking little bitch loser, dude.
Cutie, you got to come better than that. Don't try this shit on I'll piss you off shortly.
Get your little bitch ass out of here.
Fuck out. You got to come better than that.
Motherfucker. The fuck out of here.
Make sure if you guys try us on I'll piss you off shortly, come correct, because we don't take that bullshit over here. You don't come with the illegitimate facts. Don't come up here with the conspiracy theories, because we're gonna shut your shit down and then get you shut the fuck down. All right. Oh man, we didn't even. This is
nonsense.
But anyways, I don't want to stay too much on this anymore. Because I think, well, first and foremost, we're on Wednesday, which is outside of Monday. And that's because I was sick. But then I think part of that was also for me to calm down, because like this week I've been giving everybody, well, conservatives and Republicans that voted for Trump hell. So I think like for me to actually do this episode, that had to happen, because I was ready to come in hot, Joe. I was ready to come in here and just have everybody pissed the fuck off. So we'll kind of switch from this topic real quick so I can calm down a little bit, because Mr. Cutie has me just ready to cuss him all the fuck out, and I can't right now. We're 50 minutes in already, and I haven't even got anywhere to the good shit. So I don't want to give Mr. Cutie any more time. But anyways, so this week, with all this madness going on, I have a question. It brought up a question in my mind. How do you see the world ending with all of this madness? And I say that because I actually just started just started watching the show. Started watching Van Helsing on Netflix. I don't know if you watched it or if anybody else has watched it. Pretty good series, but like I'm like, damn, zombie or vampire apocalypse. That would be an interesting way to go. But with all the madness going on in the world now, especially in the United States, would it surprise me if something crazy happened? No. And it had me thinking, like, damn, if the world was going to end, or if there was supposed to be some kind of apocalypse, how do you foresee it happening?
I'm a big fan of and I've been reading a lot about this, the giant asteroid that will crash into the planet and cause catastrophic damage and dust in the clouds that will eventually choke us all out and kill us.
Okay, so
a fun
Deep
way.
Impact, Armageddon.
Oh yeah.
Type shit. Okay,
there was one that recently passed us that was close, and the messed up fucking part of this, I don't know if you know this or not, but we can't see those.
So
when
it
they
doesn't
come,
have the tail.
when they come from behind the sun, until it,
Ooh.
like, as soon as it pops out, dude, you're like 330,000 miles away. That thing's flying.
Yeah.
There's nothing they would be able to do for most of these.
Jeez. I wonder,
if it was something big enough, I mean, what would happen to the dinosaurs would actually happen again, but to us.
I'm surprised we don't have like major defense systems by this point. Like we're in 2020.
Oh, we do.
Don't
Did
have...
you see the movie Armageddon?
Yeah, no, not like.
You imagine?
Oh man, like I would love to survive, be a survivor. Not to say I would actually survive too long, but like that kind of Armageddon type shit, definitely would have to find a bunker. But like I would love to do a zombie or like vampire apocalypse. I think that it would be scary.
I dream about the zombie apocalypse every day.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
that's the one that's really, if you were like, I thought you were joking. If I had my choice, it would be that.
No, I'm dead serious.
The apocalypse. Oh yeah. I picked out a team of people that will be joining me on my team.
What's your team? I was just about to ask you, do you have a team?
I do, and it's a pretty decent team, I gotta tell you.
All right.
One of them is a neighbor of mine. He's a psychologist.
Okay.
But he knows like the basic first aid.
There you go.
He can do some things.
Okay.
So I told him he was on.
There you go.
Everybody on my zombie apocalypse team has some sort of skill that I think would be crucial to survival. You
can't just pick like, oh, I knew him forever. Like, no, you got to, at this point it's survival mode. So you got to bring something to the team. If you're not an asset, then you're a liability. Sorry.
My wife asked me what her job on the zombie apocalypse team would be. And I said, I don't know if there's room.
Smart man. Hey, at this point, I'm sorry. Like, even then, I agree. Like, if Danielle's not holding her weight, you become bait. I'm sorry.
Bummer, but
that's life. You better learn how to fucking tie a bowline or something. A Yuli night, something. You better, be a productive member of the team. I tell you right now, like I'm with it. Like my two dogs, I already know one dog is gonna be like the one that you send away to like be the distraction. The other dog is like for safekeeping, because I know it's smart enough to follow me and not make noise. But at the same time, if I need to eat or if I need to sacrifice, then you can be a sacrificial dog. Donnie, sorry, buddy, you're too young. You don't need to see this. He has to go. The young ones, I'm not ready to try and keep a young one safe. And if you can't run faster than me, you can't be on my team.
There was an episode of The Walking Dead early on. You watched The Walking Dead?
Yep. I haven't watched the last couple of seasons, but
me neither. It's such a shame because it was such a good show. But I think it was in season 2 when they got to the farm.
Yep.
Just before Shane died. Shane and the hillbilly fat guy were right, and he shoots him in the leg and knocks him over and runs off.
Yeah, like
I'd be Shane. Everybody I know I watch that show with, I'm like, bro, I don't know if you want to be on my team because I'm fucking Shane. Yeah, I will shoot you and push you down and then jump over the fence and sorry, dude. I'm tripping. You always got to be faster than the guy behind you or in front of you. You just have to be faster than the guy next to you, right?
That's it. Oh man, but man, that show's crazy though. That it really had me thinking about that. So if anybody that hasn't watched it, it's it's one of those good shows, like good storylines, but the production. I'm a really big production guy. So like if the production sucks, if like this like if your timeline is weird or it's off or it's just like confusing me, I hate it. Or if like I notice certain things, like if there's a cup that shouldn't be in the scene and I see it, or if the person's supposed to be running out the scene and I see him running out the scene. Like you could tell like the production budget wasn't the best, or they spent their budget on specific things and said fuck the rest of the shit. But hey, Van Helsing, I guess, is on Sci-Fi too. They're 4 seasons in. I think they have like the sickest protagonist. No, the antagonist is the bad person, right?
Yep.
Okay, so the sickest antagonist, his name's Sam, and he's sick in the head. So like if you guys haven't watched that, and if you're really into like some psychotic, like I love sick, demented, evil people. So like Sam's like the perfect character for it. But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to get on that little rampage. But yeah.
No, it's all good. Can I hate to go back on something for a minute, but I literally just went to our buddy's page. He's this kind of fucking moron that if they raise minimum wage, it's $64 for your McDonald's hash brown.
Yeah, Mr. Cutie, you're
I'll give you one better. You thought Mr. Cutie was probably like a young punk bitch. He's actually an older guy.
Oh,
a real fucking loser. I mean, what a loser, dude.
But I'm glad we reached that far. We reached. Where's he from? Florida, it looks like.
Yeah, and he works at
the
the shed depot because life's gone really well for him.
Oh, he must
fucking loser.
He must be worried about his taxes.
Yeah, he's got a little tiny penis, no education, obviously, a shit job, and he's miserable. I got you, buddy. I got you, Mr. Cutie. I got you all figured out. Thank you for watching. All you're doing is helping us.
Thank you.
2020, bitch.
Hey, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, Mr. Cutie. Go out, pissyououtshortly.com. Get some merch so that way you can show all your friends the beautiful podcast that you ran into.
I got to tell you, Rob, again, we've talked about this so many times, and I'd love to get Chris back on here at some point, your buddy Chris.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finding when I because again, because I don't suck Trump's cock, most Republicans are like fucking liberal. I'm like you're a fucking moron, and his cock's stuck in your mouth, so you're confused.
You're confused.
Me objectively pointing something out doesn't make me a liberal. No. You not knowing the difference though does make you a fucking moron. That's a fact. Okay. Fact. I can look at things and critically judge them. I can still like a candidate. I can still appreciate a president or be cool with somebody and be like, I definitely didn't like that, though. That shit's got to change. The fact that you can't separate or that you've got this weird hero worship for this guy or for any politician, do you really think they give a shit?
No.
Do they give a shit as much as any of us do?
Not at all. Maybe one,
why?
But not as much.
Because they get a fucking pension and their own special health insurance for the rest of their life after they've served. Yeah. Meanwhile, they convince you that the liberals are fucking you, and you're so goddamn fucking stupid that you buy it. I've been saying for the last few years, Rob, this isn't a black and white thing. Mm-hmm. This is a rich and poor thing. And the rich have done a nice job of like I said, convince these people that the other poor people are fucking them. Are you serious? Really?
It's the poor fucking the poor.
That's what you think that's the problem? The other poor people around you? That's how stupid you are. You're getting played, and maybe I'm too mean in my messaging. Maybe I need to pamper you and like sit you down like I'm like getting you out of a cult and sort of de-escalate you out of it. Dude, you got played. You got played.
You got to stroke their ego.
Right now,
you got to stroke their ego.
Right now, a lot of black dudes this election got played.
Super played.
You know who didn't get played? You know who didn't get played? Black women. You know who got played a lot less this time around?
Who's that?
Suburban wives. The suburban ladies.
I thought they loved him though. No.
He lost a lot. I think he still won with the women. Mm-hmm. I think,
but he lost.
It wasn't anything like it was last time. Gotcha. Again, enough of the soccer moms were like, dude. Here's the thing: if you're gonna sit here and be like, "Oh, don't use that kind of language in front of my son. How dare you? Fuck Donald Trump. That's awful. It's like, dude, but that's what Trump talks like.
Yeah.
You can't tell me I can't talk like that about him because it'll offend your kids when he talks like that. Say shit about
in front of my kids. And then what's crazy, right? So they have this whole hatred and all these other crazy words and phrases for us for 4 years, but they lose the election. Now everybody wants to be fucking friends. Now all the conservatives want to, hey, stop using those bad words with me. Hey man, don't take that tone with me. You got to be friends. We should all be nice to each other. No, fuck that.
Dude,
Fuck
how many times
fuck
did you and I talk about how do we move forward as a country over the last few months? How many times do we have that conversation? And to this date, I have still not seen one conservative personality come out at any point and say, look, no matter who wins, we have to get... Not one of them even addressed or broached the issue. It's almost like... And again, I understand why they felt this way, that most Republicans were sort of hoping a civil war would break out.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't care to do the critical thinking. I've talked to some really smart people in the last few days who are like, I'm really worried about the socialism. And I'm like, dude, Obama for 8 fucking years, we heard this fucking bullshit. Socialism. Our economy fucking went through the roof under Obama, and I fucking hate that guy. I hate that guy. I didn't vote for him. The economy wouldn't be where it was now if Obama didn't get us the fuck out of it.
I tell you right now, I looked at my portfolio, and thank you, Joe Biden, for winning, because ever since fucking Friday, and then especially yesterday, the market's been looking amazing. And I actually did my research. It looks better than what it did when fucking Trump first got elected. So give me something else, people. Give me some other fucking tier somewhere else. Because outside of that, I just don't care. I don't care.
Ultimately, here's what happens for them. Because for a really long time, people like Mitch McConnell and a lot of these conservatives are like little bitches. Quiet and passive.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the politicians.
They never got punched.
Mitch McConnell got rolled over and pushed around all the time.
Oh yeah.
It is big fuck you was just not to take the Merrick Garland nomination or whatever. And Donald Trump changed that for them. And he's not even one of them, which is why, and they don't even care because they need him. I read this great article the other day. It was like, conservative men just aren't like that. They're not generally confrontational. They won't start fights or sling down in the mud and get dirty with people. But Trump did that for them. That's why they looked at him like a hero. He convinced them. He convinced them they were the silent majority and that the liberals were they just wanted to take care of,
black people.
Black people and illegal immigrants. Again, I mean, this is what kills me, dude. And this is what makes me angry and why I start screaming sometimes. If Joe Biden and the liberals were seriously talking about that shit, you think I would be like, yeah, I'm fucking do that. I mean, I got a fucking $500,000 house. I'm fucking rolling. Bro. I'm balling. I'm fucking big league balling. Somebody asked me the other day if I was a socialist. I said, I'm not a socialist. I don't even know if you know what you're fucking asking me.
I don't even think they understand what socialism is.
Right.
To be honest.
This is basically what the dude was asking me. He said, why wouldn't you vote Republican since you'll have less tax? And a lot of my Republican friends currently, I'm hearing they're under Trump, they're getting anywhere from $50 to $100 more a month than they used to.
Oh.
And so here's what I said, Rob.
A whole 50 and 100?
Here's what I said, Rob. I said, I'm not a socialist, but I will tell you this. There's not a fucking dollar figure you could give me where I would turn on another human being. Where your civil rights, Rob, there's not a dollar figure they could get. Like, how much would it cost before you're like, fuck Rob, and we could do whatever we want with them? There wouldn't be a dollar figure. I don't have a price.
And there's a difference.
I'm perfectly content with transgendered people feeling safer in this country. LGBTQ people not being fired from their jobs. Black people not getting shot by the police. I could live with $100 less a month in taxes
You don't say.
in exchange for that stuff. And again, what if it's $500 extra a month, or 1,000 or 10,000? That's not
no number.
Isn't this a non-starter for me? You know
Agreed.
why? You know why? Because I'm a
that,
personal conservative.
Mm.
Because that's how I personally lead my life. I believe the right thing to do is to make sure everybody gets theirs. That's the mentality. That's what I learned growing up. That's the Republican Party I thought I was in, just basic humanity.
I was about to say basic humanity. Holy shit. Who would ever thought?
I always thought as a conservative, Rob, that I had the high road on people, that I was better than other people.
Like, it was a personal decision.
Yeah.
You didn't have to have somebody else, like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Look, I've never judged people. I'm a friendly guy. That's always my thing. I see somebody new, I'm like, hey, new black guy in this all white establishment, look like you need a buddy.
See,
it's not like I ever did it for any other reason than like I notice a situation and I'm like, yeah, somebody's got to do it. It'll be me.
Yeah, no,
I just believe in doing the right thing. I'm not even religious anymore. I used to be a devout Roman Catholic, and now I'm a nothing. And I have even more faith than I ever did.
Well, yeah, because you live by your one commandment. Don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole. It goes a really long way, dude, towards people liking you and girls wanting to fuck you. Why I guess I started walking the earth, right? I don't know what else. You know what I mean? Because I'm not here for eternal life.
Mm-hmm. Only here for I'm not here for a long life. I'm here for a good life. That's it.
I'm here for as long as I get to hang out here and it's all over. I want to make the most of my time. You've known me for a while now. You know anybody that doesn't like me?
Nope. Can't say.
I don't give people, if you don't like me, you're an asshole. It's on you. I give people no reason to dislike me. I have a lot and I share a lot with people because I can. Because when I was in that spot, nobody did. And I didn't know why.
And that's the biggest thing. That's one reason why I like to keep my circle small. Because, like, I don't have to worry about pleasing a bunch of other people, and I don't have to worry about a bunch of people trying to get to know me or understand me. Keep my circle small. Don't have to worry about all that bullshit. And I learned that late in the game. I'll say now that I'm 33, probably in my 30s, 29, definitely in my 30s when I turned 30. I don't know. I don't want to say it was a cliche like light switch, but it was just like, yeah, what's the point of having like 9 people around you or being around 9-10 people all the time or whatever the case may be? So now it's just like, if I keep my circle small, I can be myself and don't have to worry about anything else. And I don't have to be an asshole to anybody, and I don't have to worry about configuring myself to other people's likings. So fuck it. And that's going to be, that kind of plays into my next thing. And our next topic for today, keeping your circle small. Recently in the news, a younger rapper named King Von was actually murdered this week. And I tie this into the keep your circle small. Not to say that I want to like.
That was a great segue, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
For somebody who wasn't trained in this field, for you to have done that, I looked up and I'm like, oh,
that was a good one. That was a good.
Did there, man?
Oh man!
Damn.
Thank you. I was waiting to take that shot. Thank you.
Yeah.
But not to memorialize him or anything like that, because I kind of keep I'm a firm believer if you're not of that life, you kind of keep your mouth shut. So I'll be the first one to say I'm not of that life. So I'm not gonna kind of speak on like the actions towards it, but more of watching who you have around you. So King Von was murdered. If you do any of your history or kind of research, if you care to, he's more of the in your face street rapper from Chicago. He was murdered by somebody. Let's put it a celebrity's entourage member, right? And a lot of these rap, which I'm still not understanding, right? And rap culture it seems like rappers always beef with other rappers. You don't see that shit in any other kind of like music genre or genre.
I
Of
wish it would happen more in country music.
like exactly, like imagine two country rappers like beefing, or two country artists beefing outside of a club somewhere. Like you never hear that shit, right? But anyway, so you get these two rappers. King Von, unfortunately, he was murdered while assaulting another rapper. So I'll give you a brief story. The rapper King Von, he had an issue with this dude allegedly named Quando Rondo. And King Von saw him, bumped into him or whatever, and started attacking this guy. Well, Quando Rondo's one of his, I guess, affiliates ended up shooting King Von. And I say that, so right, I look at the video and there's videos all around, and I look at the video and I say, damn, King Von is worth, well, should be, he's an artist, right? So he should be worth millions of dollars. He's the one feeding these families, right? You have all these people around you, and none of them stopped you from doing some dumbass, senseless shit. You know, and once again, I'm not going to sit there and speak on some street shit, but in my mind, if I'm the one providing, my team around me should, one, be able to stop me from doing dumb shit, foresee me doing some dumb shit, and prevent me from doing some dumb shit, right? And when I say dumb shit, like literally, this is, I don't know exactly what the beef is over, and I don't want to make it about that, but it's just like, I I remember running around with probably 15, 20 people all the time, going to the club with 20, 15 people deep. But imagine the quantity of your relationship and your friendships with those people. And I look at it back now, out of those 15 to 20 people that I ran with 6, 7 years ago, ask me how many I'm cool with now.
How many?
One, maybe two. And when I say cool, like speak to on a once or twice a year basis. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like when I see him get murdered like that, I'm just like, there's so many avenues that could have been approached and taken to, one, stop this senseless killing. And then two, it also brought me to the sense that like nobody fucking throws hands anymore. When did it stop? I'm not gonna say stop because it never really stopped, but when did it not be okay to get your ass beat or take a L? Like
Well,
I've taken a couple fucking L's. You know what I'm saying? Like I've got my ass beat twice. One dude that was bigger than me, one dude that was smaller than me. But that was the thing. We fought to fight another day. And now it's just so aggravating to keep seeing all these senseless killings, especially in a rap culture. It makes me just like, fuck, you don't even want to enjoy this shit anymore. And it makes you just like, is it even worth it? I remember like growing up and I was like, I didn't want to be a rapper, but I was like, oh, I would love to have like an entourage and shit like that. And this is probably my early 20s and shit like that. Teens, late teens, early 20s. And then just seeing that shit, like having all those people doesn't make you anything stronger, bigger, or whatever. Like, if anything, that just makes you more of a fucking target. And then I started kind of just looking at like how a lot of these artists, or even, big time artists, right? They don't have to be just rap artists, but like these big time celebrities, when they first come out, you see them with like 20 fucking people, right? They always got a huge entourage. And then like, as they get bigger and bigger, their circle gets smaller and smaller. So that has to tell you something, right? Like just because you have all that, just because you have things going on, like keep your fucking circle small. And I'm so glad that now my circle is down to literally just my siblings, and then like are kind of like subsets from that. And I plan on keeping it that way. I kind of brought this up also because somebody had mentioned it to me. It was like, hey man, your podcast is doing well. What do you know what I mean? What do you foresee yourself doing? Or how do you foresee yourself helping out your community or whatever, whenever you make it big? And I'm like, honestly, I don't see myself helping out too many people. And not to say that in a bad way, but when you start like, I say it all the time. I'm just a podcaster, right? Or not even, I'm just, for right now, yeah, I'm just a podcast. I'm a guy with a voice. I don't think that that should start to like have people's minds like, not, I don't want to, let me not just use myself. And I know I sound like I'm kind of rambling right now, but I think we put too much pressure on celebrityisms and shit like that for them. You know what I mean? Like to have that big of an entourage and stuff like that. Because you figure if I get big, or imagine, I'll say with me, right? If I get big, it's going to be expected for me to take care of how many people? right? A lot. You may not even say a lot, but and that was kind of more of a rhetorical question, but like it's a lot of pressure versus where if you don't have that small circle, and I'm gonna shut up in a second because I really feel myself rambling. But if you don't have that small circle, like you're gonna put yourself in the thing. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. But anyways, that shit just really fucked me up, and just with that killing is just like, damn, if he would have had the right people around him. And that's probably why I'm rambling, just because it just has me fucked up. Like, it has me scared. Like, yo, do you not scared, but like, you get to that certain status, and literally the smallest dumb shit can have you fucked up. And you can have the biggest entourage, you can have all the people around you, all the celebritism, and still just like the people just don't give a fuck.
You know,
I mean, the same people that you take care of just don't give a fuck.
Like after Tupac and Biggie, there was like a time from like the early 2000s, and it kind of started with like 50 Cent, some of those cats, where like there were shootings, but it usually was somebody in the entourage. And for some reason, it was always somebody got shot in the thigh.
Yeah. But that was because people didn't know how to shoot. Let's face it. Everybody was shooting.
You're right.
But,
aiming the gun down, but that's good.
But yeah, no, that was a good thing.
Hold on. Can we go back to like, you know, like little Ray gets shot in the leg and they take him to the hospital, and then there's like you put out a diss track back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got to stop killing people. This is some horse shit right here.
It's always the entourage, though. It's always the entourage or somebody that definitely. It's never the artist. It's never the artist.
Right.
It's always the entourage. Which honestly, of course, if you're looking at the business mindset, it should never be the artist, right? Then your artist should never have a gun, should never have the drugs, there should always be somebody for that. But I don't know. This shit just has me all fucked up. I wish all this shit was just stopped. Like, and apparently, I guess these two were like cool at one point. So it's just like, it really has me looking at things like, yeah, like if there's beef, there's no beef. Even with you, Mr. Cutie, there's no beef. You're just a fucking piece of shit. Dickhead.
I mean, listen, if you're going to murder somebody, this is just me spitballing, but I don't know, plan it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing.
He was protecting him. He was protecting his friend, though, from
That's
getting
fine. I'm just saying, if you murder somebody, though, you're going to go to jail.
Facts.
So if you're going to murder somebody, again, I'm not advocating for murder. I'm just saying if you're going to do it, plan it better.
Yeah.
Have an escape plan. You're definitely going to want to leave the country if you murder somebody. I never understood the murderer who just like goes home. Like,
or goes to their mother's house, or
those are the first two places they look, Rob. Just literally the first two.
Home. Yeah, don't call home to tell your mother you love her. That dumb shit too.
You know how I have all this useless information, of shit no one needs to know. I'm gonna drop another one on you. You know the U.S. Marshal Service?
Yep.
Love the Marshals. I think the U.S. Marshals are super cool. The U.S. Marshals, if they're given, like, they get, like, the assignment, they're like, okay, Rob Benjamin, all right. Until they capture you, they don't stop looking.
Jeez, they just keep going.
They do not stop. The first thing they generally do is they tap your mom's phone.
Of course, which they would be smart to do with me.
You're calling mom, and we're going to be listening, and we'll be waiting. Which is the other super interesting thing about the U.S. Marshals is they have no jurisdiction on earth they cannot go to. The U.S. Marshals can go anywhere on the globe, track your shit down, put you in handcuffs, and take you the fuck out of Siberia or Beijing or Tehran. The U.S. Marshals can literally go anywhere and do anything. And like I said, the idea that they will sit outside your mom's house for a month
and just wait. Because
they know you're coming. You're going to swing in, and they'll be ready.
How long do you think that you could survive without being caught? How long do you think?
Well, I don't talk to my mother now anyway. Great story. I'll tell you about that if you want to hear it later. Yeah, I could vanish.
Okay, same here.
I don't love anybody enough. No, I'm just playing.
No,
I don't love anybody enough. I couldn't just vanish in an hour. No, I mean, But again, like that's where if you're gonna kill somebody, you're gonna get caught and you're gonna go to jail for life.
Mhm.
There's no way around it.
I mean, at that point, if I kill somebody and I know I'm going to jail for life, I'm not talking to anybody, especially if I know I'm trying to get away.
Oh, right.
Like
Now, again, I haven't done a whole bunch of thinking about it. Okay. I haven't done a whole bunch of thinking about it. But
am I weird that I have?
I'm
What
lying.
the
I have
murder-
thought a lot
about
about
how
it.
to keep away, not
Yeah,
murder.
Rob,
Let me
I
clarify that.
The getting away part, I
The
already
getting-
know where I'm going.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, there is literally, I don't want to say I've planned for it.
Mhm.
It's a few hours away, and there's a key.
Oh, see,
Hidden.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're already there. You're there. See, I
I
have
got
an
a place to go.
idea. I
Yeah.
have an idea. I have an idea. I know which direction I'm going, but to me, it's going to be the journey to get there. I don't know. It's going to be hard to get there, but I know where I'm going. So yeah. And then at that point, nobody. If I haven't talked to you within an hour of whatever happening, you can pretty much never hear from me again. And
The
my mom
first
knows
thing
that.
First thing you do is you take this and you smash it to smithereens. Like you're
I-
Hillary Clinton or Tom Brady and you're being
Exactly.
investigated. You just smash the shit
And
out
you
of it.
never pick up another one.
And you never get another one again.
Never again. Oh man, you know that I wish would never come back again. Since we're talking about things that would never go away, my gray hairs. So like, I've had gray hair since I was age of 19, and then like it was cool, it was cute for like the first 8 years. So from like 19 to 27, couple little pieces of salt here. The girls loved it. Now it's like boom. I don't know what the fuck happened in the past 2 years, but it's like salt central. And I've been thinking about actually like dyeing it, but then I'm like, fuck, I'm really that old now that I actually am thinking about dyeing my gray hairs. But it's not like patches. It's just like the little sprouty ones. So like gray hair over here, gray, just all over. So when'd you start getting gray hairs, Joe?
Oh,
Or do you even
God.
have them? Because I mean, you got those locks right there that are just, you know what I mean?
Now, mind you, so everybody knows, I had my head shaved last February. And I was like, I'm just going to grow my hair out while we're in quarantine. What's this going to be like 6-8 weeks?
6 to 8 months later.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, like seriously, look how long my hair is right now. But yeah, dude, I have nice shiny hair because I just started using conditioner. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh yeah, we talked about that last week.
Yeah, for reals. But no, there is a ton. You can't see it for whatever reason. You could probably tell here though.
Well,
You can't. This is like literally like 50-50 black hair to white hair.
See, you got a nice little ratio though. You got a nice little ratio going. When did you start getting gray hairs, Joe?
24, 25.
Okay,
I would
so I wasn't
say.
too far
Within the
off,
last 4 years, though. I mean, again, if you were sitting here with me, you'd be like, "Oh, Jesus,
to be everywhere."
that's all. It's all up in there. It's all you can totally see it." But my wife loves it. My wife tells me she thinks it's that kind of sexy.
See, yeah, Danny, she won't let me dye it, so I guess it's a good thing.
Yeah, see,
yeah, I might be one of those sexy 50-year-olds that just have the silver fox going on, the wavy silver fox. I'm with it.
George Clooney. It occurred to me was not much of an actor. Just a handsome salt and peppered guy. And he's been salt and peppered since he was like 30.
And it just
like
works.
20 years of women are like, yeah, this guy's so sexy. And it's definitely helping us as we age.
Yes.
Because him hot at 30 with gray hair just made us like he was a shot.
See, for you, and I think that Denzel did that for for this black
there
guy.
you go, right?
Denzel, Idris, all those guys. Now, only if Giuliani could do that for like those other set of guys. That would be amazing. Imagine if he could, put on a good image for himself, the same way he put on a good image for the Trump talks and Trump news conferences. Only if he could have a good image like that. Imagine going. I wish I could sit there. You know what I'm gonna do next time I take Danielle on a date? I'm gonna tell her she's going to the Four Seasons, but I'm gonna find like the Four Seasons taco truck. And for you guys don't know what I'm talking about or getting a hint at, Rudy Giuliani, his conniving, slandering ass, he booked a news conference for President Trump this past Friday at the Four Seasons. But guess what? It wasn't the Four Seasons Hotel as we all kind of expected, or as President Trump led to believe, even though it just said Four Seasons. It was at the Four Seasons Landscaping, just outside of where we're at in Arizona. But yeah, so I just wanted to bring this up a little bit real quick because I feel like Giuliani is going to be the catalyst that just digs and digs and digs Trump even deeper into this these cases and everything like that. Joke all you want, but Rudy is prepared to fight this all the way up to this courtyard by Marriott. Jesus, that's fucking hilarious. So Giuliani, you're fucking I was so ready to dog him when I talk this, but now I'm just like, you're just doing it yourself. Like everybody, do y'all not see how he's played y'all? Do y'all really not see this?
Do you remember 20 years ago when he was America's mayor and he and George Bush were like best buddies? And it was like, oh man, this guy loves America. Rudy Giuliani should be president. He hosted SNL. If I'm not mistaken, I think he did a bit where he dressed in drag, which obviously was a foreshadowing of things to come.
Wait, I'm fixing myself.
Oh, good Lord. Look, here's what I'll say on this whole thing. It saddens me, and it really does for the Republican Party that this is where they're at. I mean, literally offering money to people to admit or to make up voter fraud allegations. I mean, that press conference was, I mean,
the biggest joke, like the biggest joke.
You almost want to feel bad for Republicans, like our friends who are Republicans, because it's, I mean, they're the ones, Rob, that have to look us in the eyes and be like, fuck you, the liberals are no better. And it's like, bro, really,
like
Four Seasons Landscaping. I mean, the president tweeted that shit and then had to correct himself and say, not the Four Seasons Hotel.
Dude, yeah.
Four Seasons Total Landscaping.
And the Four Seasons was like, yeah, nah, we're not having it, dog. And that speaks a lot. That speaks.
Well, did you see yesterday too with Pfizer? There's another great example of just again Donald Trump just being dishonest. He said he actually thanked and congratulated Pfizer, which is pretty close to having developed a vaccine, which as of right now looks to be 90% effective. It still has to go through clinical trials and then peer review. So we're still some months away from this thing, but it looks good. President announced this was all thanks to his partnership with Pfizer. CEO of Pfizer was like, we did this shit completely separate of the government and of anybody else.
Yeah.
We didn't accept any money for this. Nobody asked us to do it. We were just doing this on our own. Yeah. We're scientists. We're not here for politics.
Not here for your bullshit.
Donald Trump has tried to take credit. There's this big time AIDS drug that was recently developed. Did you know about this? It was in France through an American company. They might literally have the cure for AIDS.
Really?
And Donald Trump, despite the fact that he slashed all the budgets for research and anything to do with AIDS, tried to take credit for it on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah. And it's like, dude.
Wait, I wish he would get AIDS, honestly.
I mean, we're at a point where, like, I mean, I hope this is limited to just Donald Trump. Like, I hope it's not going to be everybody the Republicans pick's just going to act like a fucking obnoxious douche rod. And we're just going to have, because I can't keep doing this shit.
Well, they don't have anybody. They're not going to have anybody to feed them this kind of type of energy anymore. I don't, unless they allow like Trump Jr. to come back in like fucking 4 years, which I don't ever like foresee.
it would be the villains of the party. It would be the Lindsey Grahams and the Matt Gateses. I mean, people who just, or I forgot the guy's name that like verbally assaulted AOC out in front of I mean, it's got to be one of these douchebags, I would think.
But we already know Lindsey Graham, he's definitely going like he's a hurt dog. So a hurt dog's gonna holler, right? So you look at him prior to Trump, he was dogging Trump, and then he needed to find a set of balls to get under, so he got under Trump's balls. Guess what? Once Biden gets in the presidency and all this shit goes away, 2 years from now, mark my words, Lindsey Graham is going to be playing the fucking Biden side of the fence, and he's a Republican. Watch, just watch. Lindsey Graham's a fucking hurt dog, and he has no other choice but to go wherever somebody's going to fucking help him out. And I'm sorry, Trump in 2 years is going to be probably either in Russia or in jail, and Lindsey Graham's going to have to fucking cower it down and beg for fucking forgiveness.
I'm so curious what Lindsey Graham did that they're blackmailing him with.
He did something dirty.
Because let's be honest,
I mean, it is something super dirty.
We all know Lindsey Graham's a closeted homosexual man.
Which is nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong. He should come out and live his best life. But
he would probably get so much more support.
He would. He totally would. But instead, he just pretends to be America's most eligible bachelor. But this is what I'm thinking. Like, what did he do that he hated Trump? Thought Trump was like a piece of shit. Said Trump would destroy the Republican Party and America, and we would deserve it. Then a few weeks later, after the hacking of the Democrats and the Republicans, Lindsey Graham was like, he's my friend. He's great. If there's a P tape of Trump and 2 Russian prostitutes, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Lindsey Graham did something really disgusting. He's
probably a bottom. And they probably have a video of him being a bottom to like some big, huge black dude.
Rob, thank you for filling in the details that I wouldn't care to go down that road. But thank you.
Lindsey Graham bottom into a big black dude, and I hope that brother's giving him the business.
What else would explain Lindsey? Like I thought about this for a while, and I'm like, I mean, it's 2020 in America. Lindsey Graham can't really think like being a homosexual is the worst thing in the world. So it's not just like
I would hope not.
They're gonna cut the dossier, the Steele dossier, and it's like here's some explosive information. Lindsey Graham's a homosexual, and you're like, no, what else?
What else? Yeah,
what else you got in there? Thanks for that. Got it. What else? Donald Trump's a scum. Come on, what else?
What else?
You got something we don't know. But yeah, so I thought about that for a while, and I was like, it can't just be that. Mm-hmm. It can't just be like a video of like Lindsey Graham holding hands with a man walking on the beach on a date,
He seems to me, honestly, I hate to say it, he seems like the little pedo type. He might have some, and it might, you know what? It's probably what I call a
dapper dandy.
I don't want to say Dapper Dandy because it sounds too much like Dapper Dan, and I respect Dapper Dan, but yeah, he definitely. I feel like it might be some shit with a young boy. It might be like some.
That's what I'm saying.
It might be some young boy shit.
Because, right? I mean, again, if it was like, I thought maybe like 10 years ago, him being a super conservative, if it did come out like, hey, he's like closeted gay, he would be horrified, right? Because it would have been shocking even 10 years ago. But if it came up now, you'd be like, "Oh, Lindsey, why didn't you say something?"
Yeah,
Jesus,
come on, buddy. You should have let us know.
This could have been a thing. That's why I think it's got to be something where you're like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, fucking disgusting monster!" It's got to be that.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it still came out. So, like, say after all this shit happens, and he's blue fucking Trump till infinity and beyond, and cases come up, and then Trump's like, wait, I got this tape of Lindsey Graham. I got this. I promise you, it would not surprise me.
Trump must not know, Rob. He must not know what the secret is, because there is no way in hell Donald Trump could know that secret and not have accidentally revealed it at some point. Am I wrong?
I agree. Well, I can see that point. I don't see him being
about it.
able to hold unless it's
Dude,
kind
hold
of
on.
like
The day that they had that Russian meeting with that Russian woman, it was Kushner, Manafort, and Junior. And they
Yep.
met with that Russian lady about the adoption. You remember all that bullshit?
Yep.
Right?
But what
That
if
same night, dude, he went on stage and he said the Russians have dirt on Hillary. I mean, he had just fucking found out they were saying that. And he went on stage that night. He was like, yeah, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but bam, boy, we got some shit. I mean, instantly, he just. Bleh.
But he can't do that then because those are his primary supporters. You start throwing them dudes under the bus when you still need them.
Yeah.
They both, and that's the thing. They all need each other right now.
Mm-hmm.
They all need each other right now. I don't know who more than who because you figured, hey, Lindsey, unfortunately, he won his election, right? So like at that point, and that's the thing. Like if you won your election at this point, why the fuck are you backing this dude? He's gone. He lost. So why would you even be like helping this dude? Like, bye, get out of here, dude. You lost. I'm still in my seat. Fuck out of here. Like, I don't care if you're president for the next couple of them, but that just has me asking next two questions. It was kind of like a two-part thing, but like, what's next and how do we recover as America? And when I say like, well, like, how do we recover? Mainly like how do conservatives stop playing the victim role? And asking for forgiveness and all this other stuff.
But that's a joke because
And
they've
then-
been playing the victim for years.
True. And that's the thing. How do we stop them from playing the victim? And showing them that they're not the fucking victim. Like,
Look, the same way that they can't wrap their minds around, that Obama's a gun taking Muslim, and Joe Biden's a socialist, and Kamala's even worse, and chaos in the streets like they have in Portland is that's I mean that right. That's what we want. That's what they're saying, the people. The war on Christmas. I mean, what a fucking joke that is. The war on Christmas. What?
at least we get a first lady that's probably gonna kill Christmas. I can't wait until Christmas 21.
Again, it just goes to show how little they actually care about any of the things that they talk about, because I mean, at the end of the day, they really don't. But you're talking to a group of people who feel like they're the victims. And I think ultimately when it comes to Black Lives Matter and they're like, all lives matter. I mean, it's totally that same insecurity. It's that insecurity of like, oh, I'm not getting treated right. There's a war on Christmas. Bro, they fucking shut the whole fucking country down on December 25th. What is the war on Christmas?
Yeah.
Also, 2020, that's the year? Or no? We're just saying that shit. 20 years since fucking 2020 since Christ died. The fuck out of here. War on Christmas. Stop it, people. You can't have fucking everything.
No.
You don't get everything.
But that's the thing. When you're entitled,
there you go. I was going to say a bunch of entitled fucking people.
That's what happens when you're entitled fucks like that. I don't know. You I don't know how we recover. A lot of it is just gonna be I think not even just playing into their semantics anymore. So like just let like literally how they used to tell you like to leave to fix a bully is to not even like listen to him anymore. Like literally just like all those words and tactics and MAGA shit, literally just ignore the fuck out of it. Like all the lies, the false accusations, just don't even like. It would be nice to see like the news not even cover that shit anymore. Like get away from election shit. Only put some shit up with Biden. Like fuck Trump. Fuck all the Republicans that have some dumb shit to say. Don't even like. I was surprised actually when Fox News the other day shut up Macaroni.
Oh yeah,
I can't wait. Anybody else interested to see if she makes an OnlyFans now that she's going to be jobless sometime soon? I think she would be successful at an OnlyFans. I'm just saying. But
I would think there would be some success there if I had to guess.
I would actually subscribe at least for a month. She would get she would get one subscription a month from me. But that's a way we can recover.
Actually, do you have any interest in hearing that?
Sure.
It's
Hearing what?
Fox News
Yes.
actually blowing our minds. This is only like 25 seconds, but
Let's
check
play
this
it.
amazingness out.
We want every legal vote to be counted, and we want every illegal vote to
Well, I just think we have to be very clear. She's charging, the other side is welcoming fraud and welcoming illegal voting. Unless she has more details to back that up, I can't in good countenance continue showing you this. I want to make sure that maybe they do have something to back that up. But that's an explosive charge to make, that the other side is effectively rigging and cheating.
Exactly. Rigging and cheating. Where? How? Where's your evidence?
Again.
Your sole fucking whistleblower already signed saying I lied.
But Rob, he's been saying for 4.5 years that these elections are rigged. And if you're believing everything he says, of course you believe that. Of course you believe the socialism thing. You believe all that stuff.
And you're going to continue to believe it, unfortunately. Fucking weirdos. So what's next, though? What's really next? Getting away from this idiot. Biden's agenda, it's seeming on the right path. First and foremost, I like how he's taking on the coronavirus, taking on COVID-19 head on. First and foremost, can we give a kudos and a round of applause to Connecticut and Yale for leading? We have 3 doctors, and actually the lead, I believe, of the COVID task force is from it's a black female. I can't,
sure is.
I'm trying to remember her name off the top of my head, but I can't. But anyway, she's from Yale. She's a woman of color, and she's leading the COVID task force. Connecticut is leading the way with 3, I believe, doctors from Yale on the COVID task force. If I'm not mistaken,
Dr. Marcella is her name.
There we go. Dr. Marcella. Excuse me for that, Dr. Marcella. I definitely should have had you in my notes, but Dr. Marcella, I want to give you those kudos for leading the task force. I know you guys are going to do a great job. You know how simpler it would have been, easier? Like, it would have been so much more calming if that's all Trump had to do. Make a legit task force and let them do the work. Let the scientists, let the doctors do the work. That's all we ask. We don't expect you to be a fucking expert. So I love how he's like, hey, I'm letting them do this. I've done my research, putting them right into it right away. No matter what the fuck they're saying. Go ahead, doctor. I see you. And go ahead, Biden. I like that aspect that you're getting that done. I think what I would like to see next. At first, I kind of wanted to see him kind of take control over the kind of like racial tension, but I think that's gonna just end up not dying itself out, but like you explained earlier, like we're at a 12, 10, maybe we can get a 6. I think we're naturally doing that. Like the temperature is kind of like cooling naturally. I think I still do have the hot take of something happening within, I'd say probably before January or February. Either before Biden's inaugural day or a couple weeks after. Not to say that it's going to play because of that, but that's the time frame I'm keeping. I can see something happening, and I would love to see how that happens. Mitch McConnell, I would love to see him pass away.
He's so disgusting. Look how weird.
Look how nasty he looks. He looks like he's on the deathbed. Like,
yeah, it's funny. They make fun of Joe Biden's health.
But
look at this motherfucker's like turning different. Look at his hands. They're
look
all
at his
purple.
mouth. He looks like he's turning into a vampire or a zombie.
And that's your leader. You feel good about that guy, people? Jesus Christ.
Ew. It really has me a question. Like, what's the worst that really can happen? You know what I'm saying? We think, what's the worst that can happen? He's not going to take away your guns or our guns. Everybody, I see people. You're only going to be able to buy 1 gun a month. And I'm sorry, I have 12 firearms. Ask me how many of those firearms I touch on a regular basis.
Yeah,
2.
Sure, of course. You know the numbers of gun sales went through the roof when Obama was president
because everybody was scared.
Yes.
That there was going to be
gun sales were going down when Trump got into office because most of the people who bought guns had purchased so many guns they just didn't need any more.
Exactly. And that's why. So, like, matter of fact, Chris is one of them. Chris was, me and him were talking. My guns, bro. How many guns do you have? How many guns of those do you use? Oh, but it's still my right. You don't buy one gun a month now. None of you. Well, I can't say none of you do, but most of you don't. So it's just like, what the fuck? Stop fucking crying. Like, first world problems you guys are talking about. First world. So what? It's an extra day or so for a background check. So fucking what?
But I want to bring it home today.
First world problem. First world bitching. That's all. FWB. Stop the FWBing. First world bitching. That's all y'all have been fucking doing. First 90 days, well, first 100 days, I would like to see Biden actually come up with some kind of plan for I don't want to say to relieve racial tensions, but for systemic racism, something to combat systemic racism, and how he plans to incorporate people of color, and he's doing a great job of that right now, into jobs and positions, and see what he can do for our economy and unemployment after COVID. Because I don't want to hold that to him, but see how he can actually help the unemployment rate during all this. I think his first 100 days are going to show a lot. I know a lot of people, use it as kind of a key judgment, but I think that's going to give us a good judgment of, whether or not he's going to lead. Well, one, I want to see if him and Kamala are on the same page, because it for right now, show wise, it seems like they are. But just like any new relationship, you got to see how things kind of progress. And I want to see if she, especially after like the year mark, if you kind of start seeing her progressing towards her own path to become president, or if it's kind of like jointly, and you see Biden actually integrating her and actually like taking her under his wing and guiding her. You know what I'm saying? I want to see how that relationship pans out. But yeah, and then I was going to say something about Trump's final days, but they're his final days. He's out of here. We know it. You guys aren't going to win. Oh, George is recounting. So you guys get to relive that fucking torture again.
You're still going to come up way short. Oh, my God.
So, yeah, I mean, at that point, yeah, it's, hey, I foresee a good next 4 years. Hopefully it would be nice, like we said, black guys, you guys need to get out there and vote. You know what I mean? Vote I shouldn't say the correct way, because I don't want to say there's a wrong way and a correct way to vote. But vote for a way that is not demeaning or demoralizing.
I'll put it to you like this: when you look at the split in the Supreme Court, 6-3. I mean, even if you're conservative, you shouldn't feel good about that, man. That's problematic for me. That's a huge split. And again, I'm not saying I want to see the Democrats back to court, but I like my courts even. I want a 5-4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like that, because, and again, I mean, for anybody who's a gun person, if that's the reason that you're supporting the Republicans and Amy Coney Barrett, you again go back to the first thing I talked about tonight, that you don't know anything about jack shit. Amendments only get over. It has nothing to do with the Supreme Court and has nothing to do with the president. I mean, you need 3/4 of the states and 2/3 of the entirety of Congress to overturn or repeal an amendment. I mean, it will never happen. Oh, but they're going to slowly erode my rights. No, every right we have has restrictions. Can't walk into a movie theater and scream fire. You go to jail for inciting a riot.
So
every single amendment has some restrictions that have been added to it, or through the courts and court battles where things have to be restricted. Guns are no different. Rob and I love guns. Big gun guys. I love the Second Amendment, but the First Amendment is first for a reason. It was the most important one. And the second one is meant to defend it and yourself and your family. But make no mistake that one is more important than two.
And I think that's where they get it misconstrued.
They sure do. Again, if you're fearful they're taking your guns, bro, if they were going to take the guns, believe me, I'm
They'd
on
take
your
it.
side.
And you know what?
Rob and I are with you.
And you know what's crazy?
Nobody's taking the guns.
Who's taking the guns if they have to take them? The blue,
Right.
the people that they back. So imagine that the same people that y'all are backing and so pro for, what are y'all going to be so Blue Lives Matter if they say they got to take your guns? Because guess what? They're going to do their job.
Right.
They're going to do their job that's required of them from these politicians, from the government. So when the government says take your guns and you guys are so fucking pro blue, what do you look how roles reverse then? Holy shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Joe.
You know, it's funny. You actually helped me. I want to transition anyway. I was watching The Wire the other day.
What? Okay, now we're
I'm
talking.
trying to give The Wire another crack. I watched The Wire. I'm a big Sopranos fan, Breaking Bad. Those are my shows. People are always like, dude, you would love The Wire. I tried watching it, and maybe it just wasn't the right time for me. But I'm trying to rewatch The Wire.
Okay, what season did you start from the beginning or
literally right? Yeah,
I'm a Wired fanatic. I've watched the season 13 times.
I think I'm maybe on the third episode. And again, I had watched most of the first season, and I just wasn't blown away by it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, maybe I'm in a better place, maybe a little more focused, and I'll like it.
Watch it with you.
Oh, dude, for sure, I would totally do that. That would be fun.
See? Okay.
All right, The Wire. The Wire. Losing my train of thought a little bit, Rob.
The Wire. Okay, so we're talking about The Wire. I was talking about how when you take your guns, they're gonna have to back the blue. I mean, they're not gonna be no longer backing the blue because the government's gonna be taking their guns. You're talking about The Wire and how now I can kind of correlate this to The Wire if you want. So I don't know if you ever got to the season where Bunny Coven, he makes Amsterdam. So Amsterdam is, so we're looking at The Wire, and for anybody that's familiar with The Wire, Bunny Coven, he's an officer. He's the Western District lieutenant or commission, big guy at the Western District, right? Head honcho, and his thing has been, how does he get the drug rate and the crime rate down? Well, he said, well, shit, I can never get the drug and the crime rate down. So what I'll do is I'll just make Amsterdam and literally just put it in its own little corner. So this way, everything else is safer, right? And that's what he did. He literally legalized drugs in one little area, made Amsterdam. The violence and the crime went down everywhere else. And all he had to do was just deal with the small little drug crimes that were there and was able to contain that shit. But where are you going? You look like you caught your train of thought.
I did. Okay. A particular scene in one of the first episodes where they were serving warrants.
Yep.
And that's where I was going with this. The police serve warrants.
Mm-hmm.
Now, most police officers make like $50K a year, 50, 60K to start. Maybe you're making 70, 80. Maybe you're making up around 100, 120 if you're in there for the full 20 and you do a good job and you live in a nice place, But most cops make like 40 to 50K. And the reason why those guys, because again, understand when you see warrants being served like that, it's typically a combination of groups.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably at least one person from the U.S. Marshal Service, but it's not a whole team of marshals.
Mm-hmm.
It's one marshal with a bunch of your local cops that are like on the task force.
Yep.
And they get like overtime pay to be on these task force.
Yep.
Okay. Which is great. Except for that's not what you normally do. And if you're just a beat cop in the city, right, where you normally live, and you come rolling in with the federales,
mm-hmm.
right? I mean, when you come rolling in, who do the people know?
The regular guys.
They recognize the policemen, right? Not the feds.
Not the feds, yeah.
But the cops that they see and know. Now, why are these cops out there delivering warrants? Like I said, overtime pay. They get extra money to go out and hand out warrants. And in some cases, if they're delivering drug warrants, if there was a grant that came with this, right, could be a real boon for the whole police department.
Gotcha.
and they willingly put these fellas in harm's way to go serve these warrants with grant money from the wealthy to make sure that we're putting people back in prison.
I got the correlation.
You see the vicious cycle here. Like, how do you know, again, it's you get pissed, and we could talk about Breonna Taylor for the next 4 hours if you want to, but there's no reason to at this point, right? I mean, when a cop is going in to serve a warrant, it's fucking chaos. It can be chaos, especially a no-knock warrant, which we're now learning is probably the worst fucking thing on earth. It's not fair to police officers, and I felt this way for a few years about this, quite a few years actually. Then I always thought, like, they pay these guys like shit, right? And back to blue, like, go fuck yourself. Give them a fucking raise, back to blue. Again, these same people, like, military. Why do you pay them like shit? And why do you stand on the fucking side and you allow these guys to get paid like shit? It fucking matters so much when you're fucking standing there in front of your fucking flag, but when the fucking dude's on the side of the street asking for $1, you fucking shit on him.
Exactly.
There's something so twisted in this country with the way people behave and the mindset that people have. And these are supposed to be the better people. These are supposed to be like the more religious amongst us. They're the godly ones. Always they're the holy talking about their religion and their patriotism, and it's like, you don't fucking God care. Bless. You talk a big game. Again, Rob, I left that party because I was like, these fucking guys, they're full of shit. Ain't nothing here. And again, I hate when people call me a liberal, man. Oh, I hate it too. Hate it. I voted for like 2 Democrats in my fucking life. 2.
And that's but you're a liberal because you don't agree with them and you don't fall into their views.
But you're begging me to keep voting Democrat. You're begging me to do it, and I'm going to keep doing it.
I mean, they're not going to learn. They're not going to learn. They're not going to see it until they have no more party.
As the demographics continue to shift, more biracial people, younger people with the older people dying. Telling you,
it's inevitable. Look at it. Like you said,
if they don't do something, and I mean fucking fast, about their social policies, like you could probably like hang your hat on abortion and probably keep that one, but the gay marriage, the transgender stuff, if they don't come around on that sooner than later, they're gonna miss out. The radio business is fucking dying right now. I mean, something fierce. Here in Connecticut, they just laid off 4 of the top radio personalities in the state. Due to COVID. It's budget stuff.
I can imagine. But
and the company was already in a shit condition for many, 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 many years of cuts.
Is that major company? I don't want to say it. Okay, I don't want to say
yes.
The name. Okay.
They really like radio a lot.
Got you.
They're very passionate towards radio. But dude, they've been fucking radio for years. They're they own the most and they fucked it the most.
Jesus. That's sad. But I see it. It's self-sabotage. When you don't want to change, when you don't want to upgrade yourself, or you know what I mean? I can see. Well, I don't see it now, but if we definitely would have had him for another 4 years, we would have self-sabotaged ourselves.
Oh yeah.
And it would have been nasty.
Well, here's the other fucked up part, right? You had literally the White House and the Senate, and you were in a tough fight with an 80-year-old who looks like he's about to die. And yet still things got so heated for the fucking knuckleheads on the right that a bunch of them, a group of like 50 dudes, like hatched a plot to kidnap a fucking governor. What are you people doing? I'm serious, man. I could be a little anti-government at times, but that's some fucking crazy shit.
Let it have been some black guys. Let it have been some black dudes from Chicago. Let it have been some black dudes from Chicago. It would from Detroit. My bad, from Detroit. Let it have been a group of dudes from Detroit. It would have been over. You think that black fear wouldn't have been fucking increased by then? Oh my God, it would have been every white
what was
person.
that a story for too? Like 4 days, and then it dropped right off the fucking like. That's it.
It was
It's
it.
the
That was
last time anybody even talked about it. I just brought it up. I almost forgot it happened.
See, that's crazy. You see how quickly that shit does? And what's crazy, a lot of them were actually like found out to be at like Trump rallies and pro-Trumpers, even though they had some plots against him.
2 were active duty Marines.
I was just about to say they were Marines. So yeah, and that's
because they love America.
Oh my God,
because they love America. They've got a stranglehold on patriotism, and they'll overthrow the government if they want to. And they just don't see it, and they don't understand it. And it's why you piss so many of us off, you guys. Like, I was on your side for my whole life. And you guys have gotten so stupid that I'm like actively working against you now. Like the Lincoln Project.
Jesus.
I mean, there's literally whole entire groups forming in your club that are like, our club sucks. That should tell you all you need to know about what you're doing. Again, we're all smart, sensible people who love America too. If what they were telling you about the Democrats were true, we'd be standing with you chanting Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Lying.
To your faces.
And if you can't tell which media you can trust, you're a fucking dumbass.
Facts. And I don't know which. I don't even want to promote anybody out there. But there's I will say that there has been one consistent outlet that seems to just hit it on the head for every which way it goes. And just keeps it whatever. But that I'll keep. I don't know. That I wish that I kind of wish that like electronics and social media and all that wasn't so easy accessible and like the internet.
Yep.
Because like it's taken away from people doing their own research and actually like looking into things and actually reading for themselves. Everybody's just storyline chasing, what is that, clout chasing or whatever the fuck people want to call it now. And just not even doing their own due diligence. It sucks that when you have to listen to a bunch of conservatives complain and bitch about things, but then you have to educate them on the things they complain and bitch about. Like you said, do your own research. Stop.
This term to me though is like defunding the police. It's not what it means. It's not what it sounds like it means.
Mm-hmm.
To suggest that you're doing your own research, right, in and of itself is sort of an absurd thing to say.
Okay.
Because if you were like, I'm going to do my own research on the COVID virus, well, you fucking can't. You can't do research. You don't know anything about it. And you're not dealing with any real-time data. And if you're not a scientist, you're not seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do your own research.
So can
I read up on shit? And can I read articles from CNN and Fox on the same topic to get perspective? Yes. That's not research. It's a little more research. It's a little it's a non-biased. It's non-biased reading. I again, this is what I talk about, and we've talked about this in the political show. If you don't know what Black Lives Matter is, but you only know that it's a Marxist government that hates the police, well, then you don't know anything about BLM. And you've decided just not to learn. You only know what the counterpoints are without knowing what it does. So how do you know if you like it or not? You're only being told what the counterpoints to not, you know what I mean? This is what I'm talking about. So you're not doing your own research. You're allowing somebody to prejudge something in your head before you do your own research. You've already decided what it is.
Do you think it's because they're scared to be wrong or to be proven wrong?
Well, I mean, scientifically, nobody wants to be wrong. I mean, this is how our brain works. The last thing a human wants to do is admit you're wrong. It's a sign of weakness.
Maybe a conservative. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong.
But it's okay to, but nobody wants to just readily admit it. Your first response, if I was like, "Oh, dude, that's horseshit," what you just said, you'd be like, "Oh, what do you mean? What was horseshit about it?" Right?
Okay,
You wouldn't be like, you got me. Total
I
horseshit
got you,
here. I knew it, and I thought you did. Your first, again, a lot of the times we get put in a situation, right? Our penchant is to lie, and then we're like, oh, that was fucking stupid. Why did I just say that? Now I got to tell another lie to cover that lie. That's just the way our brain works. And we're able to lie to ourselves about shit. You can convince yourself of anything.
Of course. Now,
That's how the brain works. And that's psychology. That's not my fucking opinion.
no, that's psychology.
This is scientific, factual information that we've studied. I know this not because I researched it, because I've read on it and I was curious. And this is the information that I've gotten. I'm not going to diagnose anybody's medical condition because I read a psychology book. Do you see what I'm saying?
Got you. The difference.
You can do your own
and
research. You can do your own research, but you're still not a fucking expert. Don't tell me that a lawyer from Harvard or Yale doesn't have any credibility in your eyes. You did your own research on the law. Get the fuck out of here. You're an idiot.
I never understood that. I didn't realize we had so many Facebook non-degree doctors, lawyers, and researchers and professors and all this other shit. It's crazy.
Also, I don't believe anybody who's not in the media should be allowed to share news articles on social media.
You said anybody that's not in the media.
If you do not work in media,
you shouldn't be able to
should not have the ability to share news information on your page.
I like that idea. I honestly like that.
I noticed right now, Twitter, I don't know if you know this or not, if you try to retweet a link or a tweet with a link in it and you haven't clicked on the link to read it, it stops you now.
Really? See,
and it actually asks you, do you want to read the article first? It actually fucking asks you. It's like they designed it with Trump in mind.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think that's a good thing. I think
that's a good thing.
You should definitely, yeah.
I remember literally back in like 2005, I remember the first time I saw a person, I was like, oh, it's a news article on like this girl's page. She's not in the media.
Why would I even want? And I remember, like, you would just went and go to certain places because they didn't have the fucking that reputation. They didn't have a certain, they're not a reputable media outlet.
Yeah.
Now you search, you literally type in Trump election or 2020 election. You have articles from 20,000 places where you're just like, I don't know.
First, I agree. First, Google was the devil. And then when that just sounded too stupid, they were like, the algorithms, it buries our stuff. No, it buries bullshit and it brings information up.
Yeah.
You're not being censored by social media. The shit you're being fed is fucking bullshit. So no, it doesn't populate in searches because it's not the fucking right answer for my query.
Oh, they'll never learn, Joe.
They won't ever learn.
I hope they do, but I have a feeling they won't.
I will. I know it's Wednesday. We usually do it on Monday. Every Monday, forever, I will sit here and scream and holler until they start listening.
Same. I'm with you. A matter of fact, I really want to get like conservatives that have voted for him and really get like their post election thought process to really feel like if they still feel the same, see if they feel the same way. Because I have a feeling like if we can get somebody to sit here and be honest, they might not sit there and say, oh, I agree with Biden or whatever the case may be, or I'm a Biden lover, but they can actually admit that Trump bullshitted them, played them for a fucking fiddle, and go from there.
I don't think I know anybody who was like as enthused about him this time around. Now, again, I don't live in the South, so take that with a grain of salt. I had a few buddies who were big Trump supporters. This time around, it was definitely not like it was 4 years ago. I mean, it was still the same, ridiculous defenses of this guy, but it wasn't with the same fervor. There wasn't the same passion behind like this guy, man, I'm telling you. Like it you definitely didn't see it as much. And I think I remember people were in 2016 were like, Trump signs everywhere. I don't see any Hillary signs. She's totally gonna lose. And I was like, I don't think that's how this works, but it does apparently.
Yeah.
This time through, I didn't really see as many Trump signs as I had seen before.
I saw a lot of Biden signs, and I was surprised.
I saw way more Biden signs than I had seen Hillary signs 4 years earlier, and I saw a lot less Trump signs, which again told me enough people were like, yeah, I'll get on board with this guy, and enough regular people were like, I just can't get behind this nutcase anymore. And that's all this came down to. Like 15 million people were like, oh, fuck this guy. We can't anymore. And that was the difference in the election.
And imagine it now, like even the people that were supporting of him, and I'm sure a lot of those people just didn't even want to put up a sign because they didn't want to look bad in the public eye.
Well, doesn't that say a lot, though?
And I was just going to say that says a lot that you can't even put that sign up because you're afraid of what people might think about you.
But the bullshit that they're going to say, though, the bullshit they're going to say is that it's not that they don't want to admit it. It's that you're going to be triggered by it. And I don't think that's true. I think that's what they tell themselves.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's a comforting thing for them.
It is
comforting
because deep down
they know that they're
up.
Exactly. When you know you're fucked up, that's what you do. But hey, I guess we'll cut the bashing.
Have we been bashing a little?
Oh, just a little. And this is what I wanted to do. This is what I wanted to do for all those that kind of got it misconstrued. And, first and foremost, just a Wednesday. So you might be kind of like weird, like, why is I'll piss you off shortly on Wednesday and not Monday night at 9 p.m. But, I wanted this episode, especially this special Wednesday episode, just to be my outlet. And at first I wanted to come in and just really just like give them the business. But like I said in the beginning of the episode, I think like this kind of 2-day break from me being kind of sick, which by the way, I do not have COVID.
Oh, thank God.
I tested negative for COVID. Like I said, I think it was just my mother-in-law's cooking, but shh, we won't tell anybody that. No, but what I think it was like some food stuff and like some anxiety stuff. I've been really up there in the mental health department for a second. So I think though the past just 3 days have been tough. But anyways, I just really wanted to let this out because I had people, I've lost some friends. I lost 3 conservative Republican friends that I was like holding on a shoestring. And then I actually lost 2 Democratic liberal friends because I was being too political. And I was giving Trump and them the business, and everybody got tired of seeing my Facebook and social media posts. But I don't care. If y'all don't realize it by now, I fucking hate that dude. I can't stand him. I'm so fucking glad he's gone. And I plan on making conservatives and Republican minds that support him miserable until January 20th. So if you don't like it, you could probably like not watch or listen. I'll piss you off shortly until January 20th. Because that is my other thing. After January 20th, Joe, I am not speaking his name.
Good.
I am
no need
not
to.
talking. And honestly, even
unless
after
there's
today,
been a coup and he's taking the country back over.
Exactly. Well, yeah, or like
in which case you and I will be freedom fighters as well. We're fighting to liberate America.
Oh yeah. Oh man,
we'll be live streaming in the car and shit. I have a laptop where we could literally go live while we drive.
Found a conservative. Boom.
Pull over. Let's talk to this guy. Yeah, look, I think at the end of the day, I think people are going to need a little bit of time. I think people are going to see that this was the best thing that could happen for this country right now because things were not going well.
Yeah.
Things weren't going well, and they were definitely headed into a scary place. And I think we've averted scary town for now.
Which is good. Hey, and then we have 4 I think that was Frank that said it. 4 years of the next audition. See how it goes. Give him a shot. And that's the difference that I can say. When 4 years ago, when Trump was elected, even though I didn't vote for him, I gave him a shot. Hey, it was he fucked it up. However quickly he fucked it up in the time span that he did. But it was up to him. At least give this dude a fucking shot. Give Biden a shot. See where it goes. If anything,
well, look, there's a reason most of the Republicans whose names really like Joe Biden. And it's not because he's a socialist. I can promise you that. So I think things are going to be all right. If you make less than $400,000, your taxes aren't going up.
Facts.
They're going to pass like some kind of child care thing so that child care is affordable in this country. I mean, again, this is not going to be
Education's going to be affordable too, maybe. Damn near free for 2 years.
He's talking about cutting student loan debt. I mean, there's going to be good things that are going to happen, and Fox News is going to tell you that we're headed down the path of socialism, and what they mean is their fucking douchey fucking friends at the country club aren't making as much money anymore off of you.
Yep, off of you. Middle-aged America or middle America. And honestly, I challenge any conservative or Republican. Go ahead and not watch, or not to say not watch Fox, but literally just listen to what they're saying versus somebody else. And you'll see that Fox and all these other places, they've ran out of shit to talk about. And there's certain programs, there's certain people. And I know we just showed Fox cutting off macaroni, but like even I think that was like the only show that actually did a good job of that. But just look at the different news outlets and see who's talking about what they're talking about, and see what kind of fear or whatever they're instilling into certain demographics. And then you'll see if you have a better outlook on what's going on and how the next 4 years are going to be. It's a complete difference, complete difference. So it's up to you guys. With that being said, you know what I realized? We didn't do fucking Yep, That's Racist this week.
Oh.
And not to say that there's not one, because
you
there's
didn't even have it in here.
I definitely didn't have it in there. There is one that I want to bring up, but I'll wait until next week. Because there's a bunch. Trust me, there's a lot. There's a lot. I just didn't throw it in there. There was just too much to talk about with this election shit. But I do have a in rotation, and I think it makes me happy. So in 2002, Busta Rhymes made a beautiful song called "Get Out." Lil goes like, "Get out, doom doom, get out of here." So yeah, that's to my guy Trumpito, for him to get the fuck out of office. Stop trying to fucking take shit hostage. Stop trying to hide your skeletons. I know that you're trying to, cover your tracks and get things situated for your escape out of America. That is my hot take. I feel like inauguration day, he's going to be gone. His family's going to start disappearing to a different country, or you're going to see a plane leave. And unfortunately, I have a feeling America or the government's going to take care of that plane. You guys take that however you may. But yeah, that's my hot take. That's my scathing hot take. But yeah, make sure you guys listen to Get Out by Busta Rhymes. Yeah, you guys do that.
Love
all right. And that's from the Anarch. That's And he actually, Busta Rhymes just dropped a new project. Pretty good. Pretty good project. Pretty good project.
Next Monday, remind me to tell you the story of when I kicked my parents out of my house last week.
Oh, Jesus. Hell yeah. I got to hear this.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear this next week.
It happened like 4 days ago, and I'm like, I got to tell Rob this story. And I've been on the air, by the way, for 5.5 hours continuously across 3 podcasts.
Jeez.
Yeah. I've been sitting in this chair for like 5.5 hours, dude. But I wanted to tell you that story. We'll obviously don't have time for it tonight. It's an amazing story. And again, I think it just goes to show how broken this country is. Yeah, I'll tell you the story next time. It's a classic.
All right. Well, you guys stay tuned. We'll be here around for another episode. Final words. I don't know. I really don't have any this week. I really don't. I thought I had something clever, but I really pretty much got a lot of that out now. So I don't know, Joe. Do you have anything? Oh shit.
Again, I mean, one of the major things you and I discussed over the past couple weeks, and we brought this up on not only I'll Piss You Off Shortly, but also on Divide We Stand, is the idea that nobody on the right was talking about the moving forward part. Nobody addressed it at all.
You think so? I think they did, though. I could have. No,
dude, Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State yesterday, they
leaders on the right. Okay.
I mean, yes, the leaders on the right is who I'm talking about.
I got
you.
I
mean, it's where are we going with this? Like again,
they don't even know.
We
I don't even think they know.
Right? We can't live by these two separate set of facts. We can't see things and you see one thing and I see another. You know, I can't have people tell me that they don't know which news sources they can trust. I mean,
That's
if
not
the
really
word
the United
if
States.
the if put it to you like this, if you're reading a news article and it refers to a Democrat or a liberal as an animal or something along the lines of a rodent, that's not a legitimate news source.
Mm. Now, I would say MSNBC and CNN have been getting a little spicy with their words and a little creative with their words when talking about conservatives. So I would like to kind of see them kind of tone that down, because I do believe that we can't get back to unity if major news sources are getting a little, petty and stuff with their words. But I agree. Now,
What
me
words?
and
What
I'll
did you
pitch you
hear? You
No,
got
so
something
like
specific? Because now I'm curious.
I don't. I can't say that I know verbatim off the top of my head, but just how they're calling them, silly, or I think I've heard I don't want to say stupid, but I've heard some certain adjectives from MSNBC and CNN.
Fair. Okay.
Certain people. But you know what I mean? It's this smart way of, calling people stupid and idiots and stuff like that. Just those little words.
I guess the other thing is, and next week I'm going to make sure I tell you the story about throwing my parents out and telling them to get the fuck out of my house, because it was classic. We agreed not to talk politics, Rob.
Yep.
And it was going great
Until
somebody brought up politics. And I can't stress this to my mother enough. And I'll say to anybody who's like, look at his fucking fag liberal. I'm not. Okay. Again, I know you don't want to. Sometimes the truth hurts and you don't want to hear these things. But we're in a weird spot here. Like, I had to throw my mom out of my house.
I was just about to say that you got it.
My mom. I threw my dad out too, and my dad voted for the same person I did. That's a problem.
That's just wow.
I mean, that's how quick things spiral out of control.
That's crazy.
And the worst part is, and this is what kills me, is I've always been her go-to for like, hey, I got a question about this. I know you know all this shit. She asked me. And now we still have these great conversations, but we get to the end of like a 2-hour factual-based conversation, and she'll say shit like, I don't know, Joey. He just seems like a Muslim.
Jesus.
Yeah, seriously. My mom and I,
a
couple years ago, had a 2-hour conversation where I cited multiple reasons why I was certain he wasn't a Muslim. 2.5 hours. And at the end of the conversation, we hugged, and I was like, you don't have to like the guy. Like, I didn't vote for him. I know you didn't, but he's not so bad. And she looked at me, she goes, I don't know. I just can't shake the feeling he's a Muslim. And I was like, dude, your brain broke.
Yeah.
These dudes broke. They broke your brain. And I don't think I can fix it.
You can't repair it.
And it upsets me. It upsets me to see my mom fall into the same trap I myself fell into until I realized what they were doing.
Yeah.
I've been in media for a long time. I know how it works. I knew Glenn Beck when he was a liberal and a decent human being. It's a long fucking time ago. If you think that anybody's out there without an agenda, you're out of your fucking mind. What's my agenda? Just want my mom back.
That's not a lot to ask for. And that's
I believe in facts and I believe in information. Any of the shit I've said tonight, you could look that shit up. I fucking promise you'll find it. Everything I told you is true. Because I research and I read. And then before I go on, I go back through to make sure I got it all for you.
A lot better than me. Where I research and then
this isn't my opinion about shit.
There you go.
Again, my inkling when I see it is to be a conservative. That's my first reaction to stuff. And then I'm like, yeah, but I don't get to decide for everybody else. And I'm like, all right, what will be best for everybody? Your perspective shapes your opinions on everything.
And
But your opinion can be fucking wrong. And sometimes you don't have the perspective to empathize with somebody who might be in a different situation than you. We're all guilty of that at times, right, Rob? We all make that mistake.
Exactly. I've never. There's a lot of things in this world that I haven't experienced, and I can't say I would be able to experience because I'm not in certain. I don't know, demographics or certain locations or certain like cultures. Like that's just certain things. So I'm not going to be able to put my 2 cents into some shit. Just like we're earlier. I'm not a fucking street dude. So I can't tell you about fucking street shit if I don't live that fucking life. So all I can do is listen.
Everybody needs to demand facts
from them.
You can look up stuff. The CDC has a website. There's just facts and information on it. Yeah. Every governmental website, no matter what you're thinking about, you could find the information for it.
You know who else has a website? Joe Biden has a website.
Oh,
and literally his transfer shit, it literally tells everything. Go look at his website. Go look at their website.
Does it say when the socialism starts or no?
I did see that, and I think they said sometime around June or July. I think it was like Independence Day.
He's joking. It doesn't say that at all. Okay.
Before you guys take that.
Freaking out. They were like, oh, no,
I'll piss you off shortly, said. If you guys, first and foremost, if you guys are coming out, piss you off shortly for some news or like to be that kind of outlet, you played yourself. This is not CNN. This is not MSNBC. This is not Fox News. This is I'll piss you off shortly on the Clovercrest Media Network, the least favorite podcast on the network. So yeah, like know your platforms and what they're used for, right?
I can't imagine anybody tuned into a podcast called I'll Piss You Off Shortly and wasn't at least bracing a little bit for like, these guys are going to make me mad, aren't they?
Mr. Cutie wasn't ready for it. He thought he was going to be able to come over here and fucking have the time of his life. Matter of fact,
you guys are dummy heads.
I think he even tried to make a friend with Frank too. Frank, I hope you set him fucking straight.
Oh my God.
At first I didn't have final words, but then I do. You guys really don't want to know the real reason why I didn't have final words. But my final words now, since I have the time. Hey, if you are a conservative, if you are a Republican, if you voted for Trump, don't expect anything nice to come out of my mouth until I see at least one of you guys apologize. I would love to see just one of you guys apologize and admit that Trump did you wrong. And I promise you, I can come with peace. I can make peace. I just need one of you guys. So I don't know if it's going to be Chris. I don't know if it's going to be Mr. Cutie. I don't know if it's going to be anybody else that watches this show, because I know some of y'all watch it. Because some of y'all got my aunt thinking that like somebody's going to try and like assassinate my character. I don't know why, but I'll Piss You Off Shortly doesn't have that great of a reach. But apparently we go a little bit too hard on conservatives here, according to some people, but I don't care. But yeah, conservatives, I challenge y'all to stop listening to dumbass Trumpito, and I dare y'all to admit that you guys are wrong and that he played yourselves. If anybody can do that, I might have a surprise for you. Other than that, if you somewhat like this show, if you somewhat like what me and Joe are talking about, if you would like to show your support, go ahead, drop some funds in the I'll Piss You Off Shortly Cash App, $, I'll Piss You Off Shortly. If not, go ahead, get you some merch, get you some apparel, some Yep, That's Racist, the original I'll Piss You Off Shortly hoodie we have out there. Or if you want to leave me some comments, give me some downloads, give us some reviews. I'm saying me like it's not we, like Joe, me and Joe aren't killing this thing together. Joe, we're 18 episodes in. That equates to 4 months and 2 weeks. I think this is the longest commitment I've ever had, even in my relationships.
I love that. This is my favorite podcast to do, and I do so many of them. But yeah, this is the one where I think this is the one where I most will express how I am really feeling about things. This is me as uncut as possible.
which is good. This is what this is made for. So if you guys are enjoying this, make sure you guys are showing your support. Go make sure you guys show your support to all of our other CMG family podcasts. Give us a call, 860-342-8711 for the I'll Piss You Off Shortly line. Other than that, you know where to find us. I'll piss you off shortly.com. I'll piss you off shortly on all social media platforms. And yeah, you can find me at Clan Hunter on Instagram. All that good old jazz. I don't know. Anything else, Joe? Am I missing anything?
I think we've got it.
Sweet. Well, for Rob Benjamin, Joe Aguirre, this is I'll Piss You Off Shortly. Catch us every Monday night, 9 p.m. You guys.
I'm gonna get it right one day. Hey, remember how many times you used to do the messages for your voicemail? It goes something like this. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for locking into another episode of I'll Piss You Off Shortly. This is the podcast where we debate everyday issues, pushing your thought process beyond what's normal. The topics discussed here are meant to be intense, promote growth, and at times may have you feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Me too, a little bit. We may not always agree, and we will more than likely have varied opinions. But with that being said, I can't promise to be your favorite podcaster. Neither do I want to. But I can promise to be transparent, fair, and open-minded. So please, if you think you've got the stamina, passion to debate, analyze, and challenge the normal, please take a number. I promise you, I'll piss you off shortly. Hey, mama, I got a podcast. Hey.